right.
Oh wow, this is the first time I've seen the new menu screen with Mrs. Chalice in the middle.
And a brand new song.
Oh yeah, it does have a new song as well.
Once you play, actually play the DLC IPG, there's a glitch I want to show you that I found on YouTube.
Oh man, this is an absolute banger of a song.
It is.
I shouldn't be surprised. It's Cuphead, right? The presentation is just absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic. I would
Yeah.
like to welcome everybody to the Cuphead event. I am Mr. IKG. I don't know why I said Mr. It's 4:30 a.m. where I live. But I love Cuphead and I love charity, so this is what I do.
You have
I'll
to
be
suffer
playing.
for art.
I'll be playing as Cuphead. And this is gonna be a full campaign run. Very timely with the release of the DLC. We will not actually be playing through the DLC though. One, because I haven't played it and I don't want to be spoiled on it. But two, it just makes more sense to do the main game for time. But that's okay. If you've already played Cuphead and you're playing through the DLC, it'll be a nice little revisit down memory lane. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this really is one of my favorite games probably ever released. It instantly became a favorite upon my first playthrough, relatively shortly after it came out. And it's a very special game to me, not only for what it stands for, what it kind of represents, what it brings back from 1930s cartoons, how much effort and charm is placed into it, how strong the mechanics themselves are, how great the story is, how great the bosses are, the soundtrack alone. I could spend like hours just praising. I'm a big fan of Cuphead. Again, like Sonic Lost World, I wouldn't mind being known as the Cuphead guy because I just love Cuphead so much. I'm going to raise the master volume a bit once I get out of this dialogue with good old Elder Kettle. So he's given us magical abilities, which basically means we now have abilities to play the game. So they actually they bothered to contextualize that, which is kind of interesting. They did not have to do that. While we listen to this beautiful classical piece, Friday, could you check the audio mixing and let me know?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll just deafen myself so I don't get the double.
You got it. Alright, we're just gonna relax, listen to some classical music.
You could probably turn yourself up a little bit, but I think the game audio is at a good level.
Okay, thank you. And your levels are good?
Yeah, generally the Discord levels seem like they're pretty good. The little bit of myself I heard speaking was fine.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, have a good night, Ben. Or I guess good
Goodbye.
morning.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, let me... There we go. Okay. Alright, I raised myself. I'll try and speak a little louder. This is the tutorial.
The notorious Cuphead tutorial.
It's very easy. I'm just gonna fly through it because it's very easy. And I played this game more than you could imagine.
For 2 billion hours.
Okay, that was it. Alright, now, on to the main game. I'm going to say goodbye to Elder Kettle. So yeah, if you're watching in chat, whether you're a European viewer or you're just up really early in the United States, have you played Cuphead? If so, what do you think about it? I'd be curious to know.
I played it a little bit back closer to release, and I don't remember if I got all the way through the game. I think I definitely got to the third island, but I generally enjoyed it.
It's good.
Obviously, just like everyone else, the thing that stood out to me the most was the visual style, which is just absolutely wild.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely think that I don't want to call it necessarily underrated, but I do think that the visuals are focused on a lot at the expense of kind of remembering how wild, as I said, the audio can be. Not only do they have a lot
Hmm.
of kind of great sound effects that feel appropriate, the music's also there, and then the voice acting, what little bit is there is, you know,
Perfect.
capturing the spirit is, yeah, perfectly. It really does everything in a flawless sense.
I think a lot of Cuphead is actually weirdly overlooked like that. I also think that about the gameplay as well, as you were saying about the soundtrack, because I think I think Cuphead is so bold and so strong at representing everything so well that people don't even think about the entire experience. That's one reason I want to do like a full-blown analytical review of the game someday. Talk about just why Cuphead is a masterpiece completely. It's not because of one thing. And that's not to take away from the visuals, because holy smokes. I mean, like, come on. But
Look at the way
every
the little
single
skin
element of this
effect.
game is
Yeah.
basically perfect. This might just be the most perfect game I've ever played, and I know that's a dangerous sentiment to say, but I love it.
I think the one thing I'll say is I don't want to say it's lacking or bad, but there definitely are certain examples of fights where I don't want to say rely on, but they use kind of like randomly spawning projectiles or randomly spawning platforms or something, and it's so it can feel a little chaotic in an awkward way rather than chaotic in a kind of exciting way.
Yeah,
It's definitely not like the
um,
biggest fault ever, but it's
chaotic in an
definitely something
awkward
that
way, maybe, but everything is telegraphed in this game, despite what
yeah,
some
yeah.
say.
As
Alright,
I said, it's not a deal breaker, but it definitely feels, I don't want to say inconsistent, but
so I do want to mention something to those of you who have played Cuphead, maybe it's been a while, or you haven't. This is the shop system with our lovely pork rind friend here. That's actually his name, I'm not just making a joke. Um, the items you get in this game kind of come on a rotation. So say I were to buy the chaser, another item will slot in. So in other words, not every item is going to be available right away. But if you look at our donation, our special Cuphead donation goals, do you want to tell them a bit about that Friday? What's on the
uh
screen there?
yeah, sure. So as you guys can probably read, it says highest donation for this event, being this run of Cuphead, can yeah, sure. choose the So weapon as you loadout. guys can probably read, So the top donator for the period of time we're playing Cuphead will be able to decide which weapons IKG is using for the run. And then if someone else wants to come in and match, I guess, or top that more accurately, they can decide what else IKG will be using. And along with that specific donation thing that we have this run going on, we have a broader donation goal, which is if we hit $800 in cumulative donations for the whole stream, we will be singing the a cappella intro song of Cuphead, not the new one, the original one. Yeah, so that's $30 away. So you don't have to donate $30 all at once. It can be, chat all coming together or whatever. But yeah, and then the donations aren't just going towards us and Cuphead and all that stuff. The donations are for the charity Direct Relief, which helps with humanitarian crises and disaster relief and other such things. Recently, they've been supporting people in Ukraine with the situation going on there. So, if that interests you in supporting them, 100% of the donations go towards direct relief. Yeah,
Perfect, thank you, Friday.
you're
Um,
welcome.
and yeah, so again, just to kind of reiterate, although Friday explained that perfectly, we are kind of going with the highest bidder here. So when it comes to my weapon loadout, you get to determine what that is. So in terms of managing that with Cuphead's shop system, I'll just be buying things along the way, kind of haphazardly without a rhyme or reason, so I can kind of get my inventory somewhat stocked up, and then that way I can give you guys more choice if you choose to donate. So that's going to be kind of how I handle that to balance things out. Um, but I won't necessarily equip anything unless the highest donator says so. Now, I can beat this entire game with a pea shooter, but I prefer not to, so please go ahead and donate. And we'll get some variety and choices here.
Yeah.
So that was the first run in gun
And
level.
I was about to say, as we don't have any donators going in right now, if you just want to pitch in with $1 or two, then that would be more than enough to get your choice of loadout for IKG.
That's true. So they
And
have
as I said,
9
it's
coins.
gone
I'm
straight
gonna
to a
buy
good
some
port,
stuff.
so
Yes. Yes. I didn't even look at what I bought. Let's see. I know I got the chaser. Oh, the lobber. Okay, so I also got the lobber. Great. I guess I'll afford myself a secondary weapon while we wait for people. Haha. Alright. Let's move on. I'm actually thinking we're gonna head up here and do Ruse of the News.
Ah, nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
I do love how he takes his cap off and it still kind of looks like he hasn't, because just one big blob.
I know.
The game has a lot of really fun visuals to it.
Something a lot of people don't know is that if you bought like even if you didn't buy the DLC, just the update for this game actually added voice acting, like more voice acting than originally. Like this character never made grunts before, but he makes little like 1930s style grunts now.
Well, that's neat.
And I think that had the potential to really backfire, because I think that could have really taken you out of the experience, especially if you were used to Cuphead. But I think they actually did a really good job with it, that I actually prefer it with the voices. Because it's still not in your face. But it adds just
I don't remember. Can you carry that boxing glove?
No, because it's red and not pink, and that is a bit of
I thought there was something like that you could parry.
Yeah, that's. I think that's actually intentionally supposed to be a trick. Yeah. I don't believe Cuphead has a colorblind mode, unfortunately, though.
Oh, that's an unfortunate.
That is probably the one thing this game could have to make it better. Ooh, that was silly. Why did I go to the right? Well, that's the first time I died on this since, like, 2017. And again, I am exhausted. I got 4 hours of sleep and it's 4:30, so what do you expect, I guess?
Yeah. What time did you log off from joining in with the stream?
Well, I logged off at like 8, but then I hadn't eaten, and then I got sidetracked, and then I couldn't fall asleep.
It takes a while to get to bed and get to sleep. I definitely have experience with that.
That's alright, though. I'd do anything for charity.
Oh, I just realized the animation is different depending on which way he's facing, because obviously he needs to twist his body to get the fist out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of a thing.
The lobber's not going to have a ton of range for this. Gotta be careful about it. So we'll stick with the pea shooter, I think.
Does the gravestone get more cracked, or is it just crack more when you beat him at the end there? I'm trying to remember. I think it just does a one-phase transition.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's stagnant after that. There he is. Until the end, of course.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I knew that it got cracked, but I didn't remember if it was just when you beat the boss or if it was during the fight.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you're here, Friday. I wouldn't want to do this alone.
Yeah, no worries, man. As I said, Ben was probably supposed to be here, but, you know, had to tap out. I very fortunately managed to get a little sleep. I think I logged off at about 6 in the morning, and I slept till about 3 in this afternoon, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I got a decent amount of sleep in, but... And actually, fortunately, I think you were there, right, when I lost the losers bracket?
I actually got off right at that time.
Yeah, so I lost that, so it means, fortunately, I don't have to be sticking around for the Smash tournament tomorrow, which means I don't think I actually have any events between now and tomorrow night, so I'm going to be able to play with my schedule a little bit so I can get my car sent off to get a service.
Okay. So what do you think of the plane levels in Cuphead?
I generally quite enjoy them. I definitely think that the plane levels tend to have a little bit of that, I don't want to say messy, but they tend to have a lot of projectiles that kind of work I guess so. In a lot of games, there's kind
Hmm.
of that philosophy of one enemy attacks at a time. There's kind of respectful take your turn order thing to it.
Yeah, this game
Um,
doesn't do that. Right.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And
Right.
I think the most aggressive example of that is in these flying levels here, where there's
I
things that
agree.
kind of come in on a scheduled basis, but they kind of track you a little bit, and so the attacks can layer up in a way that's not necessarily unfair, but it can be a little, as I said, unpredictable or more challenging than some of the more telegraphed patterns.
I
And
yeah, yeah. I think that's very fair. I also find that it's really engaging about the plane levels, but they do kind of have that, like, what people often call bullet hell kind of like mechanic where you're just dodging a ton of incoming attacks that are
yeah,
not necessarily synchronized, but still maneuverable. And I think the ability to shrink is a very underrated mechanic because shrinking not only makes your hitbox smaller, it makes you faster, but it makes your offensive capabilities almost none. So it's a fair trade-off, and you can just pop in and out. And I think that's
yeah,
actually a really cool
it is
mechanic.
good. And as I said, I don't necessarily think it's unfair, but I do think that some of the predictability and some of the particular kind of predictability that the other fights rely on isn't as prominent here. So it's a very different kind of mode of engagement you need to take when fighting these bosses, which isn't bad, but I think I just prefer the on foot levels a little bit more.
Oof, almost died.
Mind you, there are certain
Hmm.
fights, like I think the genie is probably my favorite of the flying fights that I remember.
Ah, gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, it has a lot of the fun stuff with, kind of switching around between a few different things. I think it actually makes really good use of that thing I was talking about earlier with kind of the independently targeting things with the pyramids near the end of the fight. I think that's
Hmm.
one of my favorite examples of that. Um, I don't know. I just think the genie does a really good job of, as I said, kind of just doing a lot of the things that are in the other flying levels, but at their best.
Hmm.
Oh, the flower patch is soon. I really love that flower boss.
I think you made a lot of really great points.
I will say this game is kind of fun for me because even though obviously I didn't grow up when this was a common style of animation, I
Hmm.
we didn't have cable in our house. We had a satellite TV,
Oh, okay.
and for some reason, the only cartoon channel that I remember us having was Teletoon Retro, which was just all the old stuff. So I didn't watch a lot of kind of newer and modern cartoons when I was younger. There was a lot of I don't know if Looney Tunes exactly would be, but I remember watching Woody the Woodpecker and some other stuff like that.
Oh, of course. Yes.
A little bit of Roadrunner. Oh, yeah, that's it. A lot of the older kind of classic stuff. And so cartoons of this style are actually really nostalgic for me because that's a lot of the cartoons I watched when I was a kid. So
I
when a lot
love
of people
that.
think of watching Saturday morning cartoons, they think of, kind of whatever was the contemporary of their time. Whereas I start thinking more of this style of animation, um,
That's
which
awesome.
I think is kind of fun. I'm definitely, I don't want to say special is the word, but uh, I have noticed that a lot of the media I consumed when I was younger was generally kind of media for previous generations. I didn't watch a ton of contemporary or modern stuff, even though I
Hmm.
did obviously watch some. And so I've actually found a lot of relatability with people that are a little bit older than me when kind of looking at like childhood media, which I think is a little bit fun.
That is fun. I mean, I've almost often found that about my current life, really. I did watch some classic cartoons as a kid. Maybe, probably not as much as you, if I had to guess, but I did really enjoy them. Something I always stand by is I always loved as a kid, and still do, the the actual original run of the Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Oh yeah.
I think those have been really forgotten, partly by Disney's fault, but I think the original run of like how Mickey Mouse actually became popular to begin with, it's
Yeah.
held up really well. Those cartoons
Oh,
are really
actually,
fun.
I
Really
just
are.
realized the thing I watched probably the most of was Hanna-Barbera stuff because that was
Ah.
always on. So Flintstones,
Mhm. Oh yeah, no, those are great.
Jetsons,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, the
Flintstones,
Jetsons.
Jetsons. There was the
Hmm.
kind of like Archie spin-off stuff, like Josie and the Pussycats and those things.
Right.
There was, oh man, Scooby-Doo, obviously, but like the
Scooby-Doo is a
old
classic.
Scooby-Doo stuff,
Oh,
not the
sure.
modern version.
The 60s run of Scooby-Doo, was it?
I would guess. I don't know.
I think it was the
um,
60s. I actually grew up with some of those, thanks to my mom.
yeah,
And
and then
I like those, yeah.
a big one was also Wacky Races, which my parents kind of put me onto.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that one, actually.
Yeah, oh, Wacky Races was super fun. It's where, was it Dick Dastardly and Muttley come from? Which I don't know if you're
Oh,
familiar
okay.
with them.
I am familiar with those characters. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's where
they're
they come
originally
from.
from Wacky Races. They're kind of like the Wile E. Coyote of that show.
Huh.
You know, with all the plans that never seem to go quite right.
Gotcha. I love the mausoleum. Ah, I like these a lot.
Yeah, I think that the mausoleum is a very good example of Cuphead's kind of take on the I don't want to say like a DPS check, but it's kind of like a DPS check thing, where it's like you need to be able to do this thing in order to prove that you get like this kind of basic mechanic. So it's not, as I said, DPS; it's more of a skill thing.
Sure. Yeah.
But it reminds me a lot of there's a boss in Fury near the end of the game that you basically need to learn how to parry to beat, and I feel as if this is very similar in the way that you need to learn how to parry right. And when I was playing through Cuphead the first time, I didn't really know how to parry very well until I started doing the Mausoleum levels, where it really forced you to learn.
Hmm. Oh, we're not going to the DLC aisle. That's interesting. I'm gonna buy some more stuff. And again, a reminder to our viewers, highest bidder gets to determine my weapon loadout until another bidder comes along. So I'm just gonna buy stuff and stock up. And if at any point you want to ask me what's in my inventory, I will give you a full tour. So don't worry, you don't have to memorize anything.
And as I said, right now we don't have anyone having donated during the segment, so if you want to donate as little as $1, then you can have your say in what IKG is going to be using as his kit.
Yeah, basically the current bid is $1, so that's all we need. And again, all of the proceeds will go to direct relief, so if you are able to support, that would be fantastic.
I love his little hand dance thing that he's doing his little stick and forward, backward.
Me too.
Oh,
It's great. Ah, that was an unnecessary hit.
no.
Oof. I will say, something I both love and hate about this game is the effect of getting hit sounds like glass breaking. It literally sounds like your head is like, the cup is just like cracked. And like,
Oh yeah, because you're a ceramic cup.
exactly, and you feel that, and it actually makes me physically shake. Like, if you could see me, like, it actually makes me physically shake. And I find that actually really immersive, so I give them props for that, but sometimes it makes me get scared. I know that's a very specific thing, but I wanted to reveal that about myself, so.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I'm really bad at Battle Royale games, is because there's a lot of moments where, you know, it's kind of quiet or whatever, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a big noise and you end up jumping usually.
Silly death incoming.
That's fine. I couldn't have done much better, so. You first tried a few of these.
Yeah. That's not bad for 4:30 a.m. or 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, we finally hit 5:03 a.m. Oh.
Lobber's not too bad for this one, actually. It's not a terrible choice if you just aim it upwards.
I do like how the flower, whenever he's revealing the things in his hands, kind of looks a little bit like a salesman. He's like, "And look right here, look at this wonderful."
Yeah, look at what I'm pitching you on our fine auction. Yeah,
exactly.
It has that kind of look to it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're already on the last
Very
phase.
untrustworthy.
Yeah. Let's try to look out for what we died to the last time. Got a parry, get a card, spit it back out via a super ability.
So just wondering.
We got it.
Just gotta
hold on a little longer. There we go.
Generally, is it better to save up for your full supercharge or spam out your little cards as they come out?
You know, that's a great question, and I think the great thing about Cuphead is it really depends. And so you'll see, I never really stick to one or the other.
Okay, in terms of pure DPS.
Pure DPS? I mean, it's hard to say, but like, I really can't say. The game's so well balanced around. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
guess
might
it
have
also
different
depends
opinions
a lot
on that
which
too.
loadout you have, and then different supers work differently. Like the invincibility is generally the one I started using a little bit more.
You know, the invincibility on my first... Oh, I missed one, that's right. The invincibility was one on my first playthrough I kind of ignored, but I've also come to appreciate it more over time.
What's the third one? There's the big
third one
swirl,
is the most
there's
powerful attack in the
invincibility.
entire game, but you have to control it independent of Cuphead while controlling Cuphead at the same time by moving
What is
left
it
and
though? I
right.
don't remember it.
It's like this big ghost. Like, you know how when they die, the Cuphead becomes like this little ghost?
Oh yeah.
It's like that ghost gets like really buff, and it like detaches itself from Cuphead or Mugman's body, and it spins like left and right if you move the analog stick, but you're basically controlling two characters at once, so it's high risk, high reward.
Do you control with the right stick or?
Still with the left stick, but you're moving Cuphead at the same time.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
so,
even okay.
yeah, and so this thing like spins around with his fits, like in a tornado kind of. And if you can control it, it is the strongest attack in the game. But again, they don't just give it to you for free just because you got the third super. You got to know how to really control it,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
really cool. The second one, you just activate it and boom, you're invincible, right? It's got the easiest use, but it also doesn't last that long. So it's all balanced, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing this game that why I think it's a masterpiece. It's one of the most balanced games I've ever played in terms of its weapon and ability loadout. The closest thing to an OP option is the smoke bomb, but I don't know. I've started to see it's not always what it's hyped up to be. It depends.
Yeah.
That's the closest example to having like a Metal Blade situation with Mega Man 2, if you will.
It's oh man. It is kind of funny that the Metal Blade has become a bit of a... I don't know if you're familiar with the idea, but there are some streamers that I watch that use the term resin to refer to an item in a game that
I've never heard of that,
is
actually.
an optional thing to use,
Uh-huh.
but it can trivialize the difficulty of certain things, which makes it feel like you kind of robbed yourself of an interesting challenge. It's a reference to
Oh.
Dark Souls, where there's something called pine resin that you can apply to your weapon, which gives it an elemental effect. And there
Oh,
are certain
okay.
bosses that have like extreme elemental weakness, so you can kind of cheese them using that.
Mhm.
And the smoke bomb, the way you were describing it, kind of reminds me of that idea.
I guess if Cuphead were to have a resin, it'd probably be that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
But that
I
doesn't
didn't
mean
realize there was a
necessarily...
term for that.
It's not really like a full term. It's just a term that I said there's certain streamers that I watch that
Okay.
have seemed to adopt it as a
Yeah,
term
well,
of phrase.
That's smart. That's smart. Yeah, I can think of a lot of things in games that I like that kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
You
sure.
can kind of use any reference point, but it's more just the idea of kind of picking something that it represents that in a game.
Right. Like the Dark Souls.
Yeah, as I said, like Resident Dark Souls is the example.
Boom,
that,
first try.
I will say, I think out of the first islands, the frogs were my favorite boss.
Oh, yeah. They're really lovely. Yeah. Could I ask you to check the audio mixing since it's been a bit, just to make sure my voice and everything's good? Okay, thanks. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, so we're moving on to Inkwell Isle 2 at this point. So we'll go back to...
Sounds great to me.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
The stream for me was a little quiet, but that's generally because I have my desktop audio cranked way, 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 way down.
Okay.
I don't think I go above 15 on my desktop volume basically ever, so...
Wait, we're actually doing great on time. How am I doing this well? We're on Inkwell Isle 2. Oh yeah, I guess. Hot dog, you have? Your strength is growing. You'll soon be a match for that no-good king dice. Maybe even the devil himself. I like how they do this double take. Golly, do you really think?
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And that's the last time we'll see Elder Kettle. For now. Alright, so we have these three. Whoever heard of a barbershop trio? If we can't find our fourth member, we'll never sound right again. Be a pal. Let him know if you stop by him, won't you? Oh, I will. I know where he is, so I'll reunite you. And we will listen to that song. We will listen to that piece.
Brilliant.
I do want to draw attention to this over here. For those of you who have not played, maybe. You can always go to this pond and actually see how many times you've died. So if you ever wanted to know the number, and don't worry if it's high, especially your first playthrough. Believe me, Mine was in the hundreds, my first playthrough. I didn't get this good overnight. I know I make it look easy. It's not an easy game. I'm not pretentious like that.
Are you
No,
telling
it's
me,
hard.
IKG, that you didn't play Cuphead for the first time this morning, and then it's been 24 hours and you're just playing it again?
Restart. You know what, Friday? No, that's not actually.
I'm surprised. Just want to remind people that if you want to donate right now, you can donate as little as $1 to pick out which weapons and equipment IKG will be using. Yeah.
Believe me, I could use the challenge. I know this game very well. So,
yeah.
If you want to see me get a little frazzled early in the morning, that's your chance. It's for a good cause.
Yeah, it's all the money's going to direct relief. So, yeah.
Yes. Lobber doesn't actually reach. Ah. Good to know.
I will say, I think the clown is one of the examples of the kinds of fights that I want to say are bad, but they're definitely on the weaker side for the general kind of roster of this game. Because a lot of it relies on just kind of having a consistent stream of things coming at you and then just layering those streams in parallel, which isn't necessarily bad or wrong in terms of design, but I definitely found it less interesting than some of the other fights.
That's fair. I definitely think it's an absolutely valid design philosophy. It is definitely different from some bosses, though. I think there are probably a handful like this one that are like that. But you're right, that would describe this boss quite well.
Usually it's a phase or maybe two of a fight. Like I remember the dragon has a phase that's pretty similar to this roller coaster thing that's right here with the little jumping guys, but it's got some other stuff going on as well, which I think makes it, at least personally, a little bit more interesting.
2 parries in a row. Player must be great.
Or using pea sugar.
I'm not, though.
Exactly.
Oh. Oh, thank you. I see. Look, I'm just gonna lobber it right into his face. Get it? Lobber, and it's called the lobber, and I lobbed it into his face.
Oh my goodness, you clever, clever lad.
That's funny.
So have you tried out the Delicious Lost Coast at all yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Probably won't get to it for a bit, so don't spoil it.
Yes, I was gonna say something.
I want to go in as blind as possible, but I'm also not gonna have the time to sit down and enjoy it for a bit, so I'm gonna be stuck in that limbo for a bit where I'm just playing the main game. That's okay. I will get there, and I will let you know what I think, for sure, once that time comes.
Sounds good.
Believe me, I am extremely excited. As you can see, I already bought it, so... I am so excited. Oh.
I'll say, I think visually, at least, the last phase of the clown is definitely my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Same. Actually, let me use Lobber on him now. I'll take the extra damage for more precision. Oof. If I die, though. There we go. Woo! Yeah, that wasn't too bad. And Cuphead got killed by a train. The end. Or a roller coaster. How many viewers are we at? I'm curious.
We are currently sitting at 5 viewers.
Alright, thank you all of you who are here. Really appreciate it.
It was actually kind of funny. During the intermission screen between Klonoa and this, we jumped up to 10 for like a little while and that went back down.
Oh.
I don't know why, but apparently the intermission screen was just real exciting.
I love that Astral Observatory music, you know?
It's a good music.
Can't blame them.
No, I cannot.
This is my favorite running gun level in the game, Funhouse Frazzle. I think it's just got really fun gimmicks and aesthetics. And I like the gravity switching a lot. So, yeah. If I ever get good enough at piano to handle ragtime, I definitely want to learn this piece. It's a lot of fun. That's another thing.
What instruments do you play, IKG?
Ah! What's that?
What instruments do you play, IKG?
Like, can play or like proficient? There's a big difference with someone like me and going into music ed. So, it's like I can play a lot of instruments, but like what am I proficient with? Well, it's a smaller list.
Well, how about you start with your proficiency list, and then we can move
Sure.
on to the other things.
Absolutely. Jeez, ow. Again, that glass shattering sound effect hurts my heart every time. Actually disincentivizes me from getting hit. Right, I can't focus now. Oh, right. Okay, so my main instrument is cello. That is my best instrument. Cello is what I've been playing since I was in 3rd grade. That's what I've been playing for over 10 years. That's my main instrument in college. And I love it to pieces. I love the cello. And, I love string instruments in general. They're my favorite family of instruments. The instruments I know the best. I know how to teach the best. Because, I'm going to music education. I'm also quite proficient with piano. Again, not enough to handle Cuphead ragtime. God no. I'm pretty good with piano. I am good with baritone horn. I am pretty proficient with viola, violin, and double bass. Really, all of the main classical string instruments. Guitar as well. Acoustic guitar or electric, whatever. Acoustic, more comfortable. I can do electric bass on a good day. I really should get better at that. Let's see. I'm actually surprisingly good with the oboe, but I haven't really had a lot of opportunities to play it. I don't own one. I'd love to get better with the oboe someday if I ever have more time. Or just pick up a new hobby. So yeah, I'll stop there. But after that, it kind of gets into like, well, I can kind of make it work territory. That's like the next tier. Yeah. And then there's this tier of like 0 experience. But then again, I'm taught the fundamentals really well in my program with like the instrument families. I could probably figure any of them out at this point. It's just I know how to teach them is the thing. I don't know. Music education is deceptively complicated. But anyways, yeah. So I'm kind of known as the strings guy, more or less. And I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
I do love me some woodwind, brass, and percussion.
I think I mentioned it to you somewhere recently, but my singular musical instrument of expertise is the bagpipes, which
is awesome.
It's fun. It's fun. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I actually last week the reason why I was on vacation wasn't just because I was on vacation, but the pipe band that I'm in, they do a summer school thing.
Oh, cool.
And so I played at a competition in a city not that far from here, and then we drove up to a ski resort during the summer where, the mountain, there's a lot of mountain biking and stuff, but we weren't doing that. We were playing the bagpipes. And it was awesome. Cool. There were like about 100-ish students on the pipes and drums combined, and yeah, it was a good time.
That's great. Yeah. Awesome.
It definitely boosted my confidence a little bit in terms of my playing.
Well, good.
It'd been a little while since I'd competed or anything, and so I was kind of feeling a little insecure. But we went up there and kind of just seeing how I was positioned relative to other people, and hearing some of the stuff that the people that I knew that I kind of look up to in my band organization in terms of their playing, and how I didn't feel like I was playing too far off was like, oh wow, actually I'm not that much different.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I know sometimes, like, this summer, like, I'm not focusing on cello as much, so I know when I get back, there'll be a little bit where I gotta be forgiving and be like, try not to get too self-conscious,
Yeah,
get back into
exactly.
it. What the hell is Converge? What, Converge? Full screen piercing.
Oh, that's part of the Delicious Last Course. They added new weapons.
They did?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
Ah.
I know.
Oh.
You know what, Akaji, how about this? When you get around to getting some in, I'll pitch another donation, and I'll let you use some Delicious Last Course weapons.
Thanks. That'd actually be really cool. Thank you.
Hey, it's for charity.
Yeah. Sweet. Let's do Mausoleum 2, since it's right here.
Wonderful.
And when am I not in the mood for this?
Exactly.
Again, they added a little dialogue at the start of Mausoleum that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that, but they added it.
One really fun thing was so up at the mountain, right? The two places that we kind of did stuff in was there's a hotel that offers us like a kind of conference space for doing meetings, and then hotel rooms for kind of doing lessons in. And then at night, when we want to do any of our events there was a pub that allowed us to kind of go in there and do stuff.
Hmm.
And so there was a great series of nights where, you know, we were going up all the way until like midnight with all different kinds of music. We had some piano, we had someone playing the fiddle, we had some acoustic guitar, obviously bagpipes. There was some singing, but it was just brilliant because, you know, every night there was, you know, maybe at least 50 people kind of just all enjoying the music together. And
That
yeah.
sounds incredible.
Oh, it was
love
fantastic.
that.
And there's a
I
guy
love
called Stuart
that.
Liddell, who you're probably not familiar with because you don't know piping, but Stuart is one of the best pipers in the world,
Is he?
which is crazy. It's really funny. So the piping camp that I went to, it's run by the Simon Fraser University Pipe Band organization partially.
Okay.
So a bunch of the players from the SFU Pipe Band, which actually has won the world thing a few times, are instructors there. And along with that, they have some other kind of like world-class instructors. Stuart Liddell is one. Steve McWhirter is another one.
Hmm.
He's the 9-time consecutive snare drumming
Jeez.
champion
Okay.
at the World Championship level. Yeah, no.
All right.
So they've got like creme de la creme in terms of instructors there. And,
So I see.
yeah, so Stuart, he one night in the pub he was playing Thunderstruck on his pipes, which was pretty freaking sick.
Thunderstruck. Nice.
Yeah, you can. It's pretty wild.
That's great.
And actually,
I
one
love
of
that
the
Thunderstruck basically became a meme.
yeah, and one of the groups actually, there's like a student kind of performance at the end of the week just to show off everything. And this isn't just like, you know, a bunch of kids playing, because there's a bunch of adult students there as well, and a lot of them compete even at like a grade 1 solo level. So it's not even just like a bunch of kind of amateurish kids playing around. It's, you know, some actually pretty impressive pipers in the student recital. And one of the groups made up of kind of some like upper mid skill or kind of like competitive level. One of that group actually played the Halo theme
Oh,
in their set.
wow.
And it was actually really good. It worked surprisingly
That's
well in the
great.
arrangement that they found.
Arrangement for pipes.
Yeah, no,
Great.
it's a little bit awkward to make a lot of things with pipes because you don't have sharps and flats outside of a few, and usually playing them on a solo thing sounds not great. You kind of
You
want
gotta
to
be
pair them
very
with
careful
harmony.
with key then, yeah. That's...
Yeah, you have to be very, very careful because there's.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar, but the way pipes work is basically there's two ways you're playing your pipes. There's playing them correct and playing them bad. And so even though you can technically play them sharp and flat,
Really?
you're really just playing them worse. So the only things you
see.
can really play with in terms of as a single player is just kind of like holding and so accentuating using note lengths. But once you start obviously having the band together, you can start doing things like playing chords by having different members, you know, play different things altogether. And that's where sharps and flats really kind of start shining through.
I see, I see.
I know the SFU pipe band had a few times where they used, I think it was a high G sharp, which is a really disgusting note when played on its own. But
Ooh,
if
yeah.
you get that in with the harmony of like one player holding one of that while the rest of the band kind of plays the melody, it can.
That was
it
an
can
excellent run.
absolutely-
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I get it. But yeah, no, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Be wary of that high G sharp.
Yeah.
As I tend to always feel, honestly, about G sharps.
Yeah.
Also
Like,
on cello.
You know how bagpipes sound. Imagine a G sharp on one of those, especially when played by a single person on
If
their
it's just 2 cents off from being in tune, you're dead.
own. Yeah, exactly.
That's just... Believe me, I'm not a pipe player, but I understand the stress. I do.
Well, not only that, but with pipes, right? You kind of have to constantly be tuning them because you're blowing into them, which means that you're changing the moisture in there.
Right.
And so within 20-30 minutes, your instrument's completely out of whack.
It's crazy, yeah.
It's one of the reasons why whenever we do performances, you only really do one set at a time, and you don't really start practicing as a band to kind of like warm up a little bit until like maybe 20 minutes before, because then your pipes are kind of like in the peak condition. They aren't so dry because you just pulled them out, but they aren't getting so wet that they're going to sound like absolutely horrendous. And so there's only a tiny window that they sound perfect, and that's when you play.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the dedication to get that right is that's serious.
Oh yeah, no, it takes. There's literally with like the professional pipe bands, there's literally people that are just assigned to walking around constantly setting people's drums and stuff up.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
And there's some days, where maybe one person's pipe start acting up, and because it's more important to have the band sounding close to each other than it is for every single pipe to be playing their own instrument perfectly. There are some times where it's just like, okay, well, it seems like we can't get everyone to
It makes
play on the perfect thing, so we're just going to be playing it a little sharp, so everyone set your reeds a little bit sharp, and that's how we're doing it.
right. No. That's the way to go. Also, boom. Man, I am a god at Cuphead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
No. But like, yeah, I mean that's the thing. Same thing if you have a piano in a setup. Like, you gotta tune to the piano. If the piano's a little off, everybody adjust. It's better that you all adjust rather than being right. It's the classic example in a musician setting. You gotta follow the group, not necessarily be right. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. If the pipes are acting up, if it's been a bit, but the leader, or wherever. Again, I'm not gonna act like I know exactly how this works because it's niche, but very interesting.
Pipe major, which is just
okay.
Yeah.
Then in that case, yeah, it's very important. Again, are we matching the group? So that makes sense to me. Yeah. I agree with this philosophy.
I don't know. I'm not exposed to a lot of other music stuff, so all my things are through pipes. But generally, it's not super different in the way you're playing in a group setting, right?
No, I wouldn't think so. Not really.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I just meant I don't want to speak for you.
No. I understand that impulse, but I think a lot of the things that I'm like, hey, this is an interesting thing that I'm learning about, is more just like, hey, this is my only exposure to this, and that's how I learned about it.
And that's cool though. Yeah.
It is cool. I enjoy playing music. It's been a while since we did stuff as a band because of everything. But honestly, it was kind of impressive. I definitely enjoy playing the instrument and stuff, but I didn't realize how much kind of the environment of a lot of it plays into it. Because obviously with pipes, you have a very particular environment that they're played at, because you're usually playing them at a Highland Games, which has not only music going on, but you have the dancing competitions, you have the athletic events, so it's this real unique setup of things that are going on there that isn't quite just playing the music. And the whole atmosphere is very, very distinctive and characteristic. Also, a lot of drinking.
Of course.
They wouldn't have it any other way. It's actually really funny. A lot of the time, the mass bands that cap off the things are delayed because, like, the bands that are made of all the adult players are off of the beer tents.
That's so funny to me. I'm not surprised though. That makes sense.
The events are always late to finish off because people are like, okay, I've just waited 3 hours.
I need to get a pint before they continue.
Now I need a pint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I get it. Oof. Yeah, don't die at the end here, Evan. Stupid hot dog man of death.
Whoa. I'm a few seconds behind, so I almost just realized you got hit.
Bravo!
Oh, thank goodness. I do like
nothing more satisfying than seeing that Bravo text flash across. Yeah. That makes my heart whole. I love this game.
Yeah.
Anybody that I marry, it's a requirement that they also enjoy Cuphead. It's required. I will not have anything less.
Screening process on the first date. First thing you say.
I should put it in my Tinder profile. I'd be like, you have to like Cuphead. Swipe right if you like it.
You're gonna buy a Steam Deck just so you have something portable to play it on, and you sit someone down in front of
Oh, I already bought this a second time on Switch.
Oh yeah, it's on Switch as well. There you go. Just bring your Switch to any time you go meet someone, and you have them play through the entire game in one sitting.
Wow.
And then they have to say their thoughts.
Damn. I wasn't even gonna go that hardcore. But you know what? Great idea. I'll write it up. Ow.
I will say, I think I do still prefer the Genie, but the chicken birdhouse fight is definitely one of my favorites. I think it's another one of those fights that it's just the right difficulty to be accessible for this kind of point in the game where things are starting to ramp up, but it's still not easy for a new player. Right. And so it was one of those levels that kind of taught me a lot about how to play the plane with the way the parrying of things aren't going too quickly. Generally, they're very, very telegraphed. There's kind of like that idea of threes with things. There's the 3 set that you get when it shoots out bullets, and there's the 3 set you get with the egg. there's kind of like a lot of I don't want to say parallels, but like the moveset kind of has a bit of a thematic to it.
Of course, we have the new offensive ability with the bombs, which is really useful.
Yeah.
You got to be smart about how you place yourself, but it can be really nice. I don't know why I say this every time, but on my practice playthrough to the guys, I said, "This guy reminds me of Bowser Jr." I don't know why.
Oh yeah, the clown car.
I guess that's why.
Yeah. I think I actually said that while you were playing.
Oh. Oh, why did I forget? Oh yeah, you did say that. Because of the clown car. I was like, oh yeah. Annoying.
That's alright, the viewers want all that.
It's actually going better than I thought on this fight in particular. This one trips me up in small ways.
Yeah.
That's another thing, when musical themes from other bosses just come back in like a medley, just in the middle of another fight, that's when you know the soundtrack has hit like peak like creativity. You know, I'm just gonna hold on that shot for a little bit so everybody can see how close I was.
Oh, I forgot about the boss quotes every time you die.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I haven't been reading them, but they are very funny.
Even without my feathers, you're in for stormy weather. I will say it's kind of funny. I think the only other game that I've played that has gone for this kind of musical style is Bioshock Infinite, which is a completely different game.
Oh yeah.
But
not nearly as well executed though, because they don't have Christoph Madigan composing.
Christoph Gavin?
No, I wish. Christoph Madigan. He is the composer of Cuphead. He has a lot of experience in performance and composition. Very cool guy.
Have you met him? Or?
No. I just admire him.
Fair enough.
I'm a fan of his.
I'd
love to meet Christoph Madigan. Can you hook me up? I think he's actually Canadian.
Oh yeah. Well, as a Canadian, I know all other Canadians.
Well, okay. Right. No, that's not what I meant. But like,
no, I know what you mean. But it is funny because there is a. I don't know if you have this, but there's this weird thing that happens as a Canadian tourist sometimes, where if you ever kind of get into a conversation with someone from another country, they're like, "Oh yeah, I have a cousin that moved to Canada or something." It's like, what? Do you expect me to know them?
Yeah, like, do you expect me to know them? Like, no, that doesn't.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, that Americans are exempt from that. I don't know why.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that Canada is a way less populated country that's populated over a way larger area. And so it's weird that...
So it would be less likely that you would know.
Yeah, exactly. It's even less likely you know that person.
Doesn't make any sense. We send a lot of magnets to Bowser Jr. I hope he likes magnets. You know, I was a kid, I liked magnets.
Wait, you can shoot magnets?
Yeah. The special ability for the bomb version is sending magnets that like home in.
Wait, that's not how magnets work.
Well, yeah, it's really not, but it is in Cartoon Land.
Which this is Cartoon Land, so that checks out. Do you have a different super special for the rockets as well, or no?
That's right, that's what the magnets are. Mm-hmm.
No, there's the super special, not just the basic special.
Oh, no, the super special is the same. Good question.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. Alright, I gotta focus.
The only reason I was saying something about the Christoph Magnum guy is because, you know, with my recent experience, it's kind of funny how a lot of the names in piping that I've heard are people that I either know or I know people who know them. Mostly because, like, there's 7 people in the entire universe that play the bagpipes.
Oh, damn.
It's not actually, but it's not a huge thing.
Sure.
Generally, there's like a few places across the states that have them. Canada weirdly has a fairly large population, and then obviously Scotland.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
But like as I said, for example, the piping school I went to, that's one of the largest in the world, and at peak capacity, I think we had like just shy of 300 people. So it's not quite a. It's a well-worn tradition, but it's also not necessarily the largest musical market.
Right. You thought I couldn't parry that, Bowser Jr.? Screw you.
Also,
Also,
just a
classical
brief reminder.
classical music will just show up throughout Cuphead soundtrack like that, just for no warning, but it fits in perfectly.
It's actually kind of funny.
Like, just out of nowhere. I love it.
I had a similar experience with a Psychonauts soundtrack. I don't know if you remember, but Waterloo World has a remixed part of what was it, 1812 Overture, I think.
Ah, great. There you go. It's a good example.
And it was my favorite song in the game, and it was kind of funny because I actually hadn't heard 1812 Overture before, so I just thought it was a song from the game. And so then when I first heard it, I was like,
Oh,
"Hey, it's a
1812
Psychonauts song," and I
is
looked into it. I
classic,
was like, "Oh
classic
wow, no, this is
territory.
1812." And then
Yeah, no, 1812 is like one of the most probably famous piece of music ever, actually.
yeah. But it's the way it's used in Waterloo World is genuinely amazing. I love it.
That's cool. I like how the next Bond film I'm gonna watch, Moonraker, actually uses classical music in a lot of ways. I've kind of gotten a preview on that. Been looking at like the trailers and stuff, and I think that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because that movie is like one of the most outlandish Bond films, but it also grounds itself sometimes, and that's one of the ways it uses that, and I think that's interesting. I was like, oh.
It's kind of funny. I don't generally listen to classical music, but for my first like 20 hours or something playing Fallout 4, I basically just listened to the musical classic station.
That's cool.
Which I presume they had in the game because it's royalty free, so they didn't have to pay anyone for it.
That's not, well, that's a bit of a misnomer. They might still have had to pay somebody for it, like to perform it or to use a certain recording, but it wouldn't have cost nearly as much because they didn't have to pay for the rights. So
yeah, exactly. They probably
you
had
are
someone
correct,
or
but
an older
it
version
wasn't.
installed.
No, yeah, no. Like people who say that, you have the right idea, but keep in mind it's not literally free. That's
No, it's not literally free. There's obviously different things with copyright. Because
Yes.
there's copyright on like an individual recording of it, and then there's other stuff like that. But yeah.
Are you serious? Ah, I'm having a hard time on this for some reason. I think this is our first bottleneck. Okay.
But yeah, I listened to the classical music station for my first however long playing Fallout 4, and I don't think I've actually listened to classical music since I first played Fallout 4, but I enjoyed it for what it was worth.
I'm glad you
I
liked
enjoyed
it.
Diamond City Radio more a little bit, and that's why I never really went back after I started listening, but... Have you ever played any of the Fallout games like you?
I haven't actually. No, I have not.
It's actually kind of funny. One of the things that I know a lot of people give Bethesda a lot of grief over what they do for the games, but the radio stations in Fallout 3 and then New Vegas and 4, it's a really corny, cheesy thing that they did because they basically just kind of included a bunch of really, really stereotypical music for the time, picking extremely popular music for the kind of era that a lot of the Americana for the game kind of draws from. But it works really well to build that atmosphere, right?
I would imagine, yeah.
There's a bunch of great stuff, especially for New Vegas with the way they use country music. Or country sounding music, because obviously not everything's in that pure genre.
Alright. Let's not screw this up.
I believe in you, KG. You can do it. That hell was close.
The music powered me through. I thank Christoph Madigan for that win. I got really into the music. That actually helped.
This win goes out to Christoph. I want to thank him. I want to thank my family.
Thanks, Christoph. On that note, could you remind the chat about our donations Friday?
Yes. For this particular game in the stream, the highest donator for this segment will be able to select IKG's loadout, which you can just do by typing in a message with your donation if you so wish. and that donation will be going towards Direct Relief. 100% of all donations go towards them, and they are a charity organization who help people in crises and in disaster relief. So they're currently active in the situation in Ukraine. And so if that sounds like a cause you're interested in, you can also support them by putting in any kind of thing. We haven't had any donators for the segment yet, so if you want to donate anything as little as $1, you can suggest a loadout for IKG to use.
Indeed.
If you have any questions about the things he has unlocked right now, you can always just ask in chat, and we'll be more than willing to oblige.
Absolutely. Thank you, Friday.
Cool.
Something kind of interesting about this boss is that it's actually kind of quote-unquote zoomed in. Like, Cuphead and Mugman are literally larger in this fight than any other fight in the game.
Huh.
A lot of people don't notice that, but that is a very deliberate decision to make it very intimate and to make the screen real estate more stressful for the way they wanted to design this fight. So they said, well, why can't we do that? And so they did. And it works.
I do really like how the fireballs almost kind of look like meteorites.
They do. In the first phase, especially, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They do.
Less so the little kind of sprite guys that jump up at you, but yeah.
They just look like little gremlins and sound like them too.
Yeah.
Ah!
I will say, it's something that I've been wondering about, although I've never actually looked it up, and that is the question of, does the word gremlin predate the movie Gremlins? I assume it would, but at the same
I would
time...
think so. Do you think there's a chance it does?
Or at least, was it popularized in a kind of general usage by the film?
Well, that could definitely be the case. We would ask a linguist on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Do the Google Translate. Not Google Translate, like look up the word usage thing. Actually,
Oh, like the trends?
Word,
The trends you could probably make a hypothesis, right? You could say, well, Gremlins released this year, and then, yeah, you can look at the... Oof.
Alright, apparently the word gremlin had a big spike up around the 1940s, and then kind of dropped off until the 2010s? Interesting. It doesn't look like... I think there was a minor spike when the movie came out, but the word really started to pop off in the late 2000s. Let's have about do gremlins plural.
Oh, fun trivia fact. You see, like, that rotating tower in the background?
Uh-huh.
Anything like that in the background are actual real miniatures that they created in real life and scanned. That's a real miniature somebody built.
Yeah.
Click for a classic film.
It is actually really interesting to see the use of the word gremlin and gremlins, because it seems like basically before the 1940s, the word was almost entirely out of use. And then it fell out of popularity a little bit kind of during the 50s and 60s, and then during the 80s, it started to kind of come back up between the mid-80s and mid-90s. That dropped off a little bit, and then right in the late 2000s, it started to really hit its stride. So definitely predates the film, but...
Okay.
As I said, I assumed it would, but at the same time, it was one of those things where there are some words that you could always think had been around because it's such a natural thing, but it actually hadn't. Okay, I just briefly need to use the restroom, so I will go do that, and I'll be back.
Okay, no worries. Hello, chat. It is still early morning for many of us. I understand that's why it's a little quiet. But I appreciate you being here, as I'm playing this very intensive game that requires lots of concentration. But don't mind me, because I'm having a blast, and I hope you are too. In fact, we're going to the final phase with 3 health points, which is a good lead. Going into it, gotta be careful not to open these projectiles. You have invincibility. I'm going to use it now, actually. Get resituated a bit. That's helpful, actually. I think that probably saved me the game here. Let's see. Oof. What if I die first? Oh, no! That was unfortunate. We'll get it next time. Yeah, retry. Once again, you can donate a minimum of $1 to have me change my loadout in any way. And if you are curious about what's in my inventory, you can just ask, and I will let you know what I have. Ah. Farthest we got.
I will say, one thing I thought was kind of funny that I learned up while I was at the piping scheme was how vibes-based basically all of the genres of piping music were. And not maybe genres, but like types of tunes. Because, you know, you have Strathspace, which are dancing tunes, which means they usually tend to be a little quicker. They usually tend to be a little more upbeat. There are certain time signatures they're always in. It's not Strathspace, it's hornpipes that are dancing tunes. I think they're usually 2/4 as well. But it's kind of funny because, like, outside of that, there's not a ton that would delineate a hornpipe from a 2/4 march, and there's nothing that would necessarily delineate a hornpipe from like a polka. And so there's a bunch of these different kind of
There's
types
subtle
of tunes.
differences, yeah.
There is, but it's kind of funny because really, as I said, it's vibes based. There's not like a hard line. It's just like, it kind of sounds like a hornpipe. It kind of sounds like a...
That is kind of true, actually. Yeah. That's fine.
There's just nothing wrong with that. I just think it was kind of funny how, you know, there's a lot of questions about those things that were kind of going around just because...
There's a certain vagueness to the history of those forms.
Yeah, as I said, like a
I
hornpipe
find that
usually
fascinating rather than frustrating.
To that. But you can have like a darker sounding hornpipe that's generally on the lower end of the notes, and you can have it be a little bit slower. You can have them be more even or more round. I don't know. I just think it was kind of fun. And as I said, whenever we ask those kinds of questions, the other from the instructors are like, there are rules, but like generally, it's kind of vibes based.
Surprised I didn't get hit by that one.
I know, that was pretty wild. I do really like how the heads kind of chug along like a steam engine.
Yes, they do.
Because even though you actually can look at each individual one and isolate their own movement, they definitely kind of have a way that they all work together and it creates a very different feel, which is why one of the reasons that when one of the heads goes to an attack, the animation starts looking really different.
Oh, thank goodness. And yeah, you're right.
Because the pacing of the whole thing changes, right? It's no longer the 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. It's kind of like the 1 1 1 1 1. Yeah.
Okay. Anything from chat? Not really.
Chat has been dead silent for like hours at this point.
Yeah, that's understandable. Welcome to my time slot. It's okay though. I'm just happy
Yeah.
the run's going well. It's been fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the reasons that last night was so lively was because we got a nice little boost from that raid we had.
Yeah.
And I think one of Ben's European friends was stopping by as well. But yeah, it was definitely a good time. We had, I think it was one of Jill's friends dropped by near the end of the Hat in Time run, and they stuck through Clinor, which is really cool.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Oh man, the devil does look real devious. Some may even say devilish.
Oh, I can't change my loadout. Right. Well. But I can add a charm since there wasn't a charm before.
Yeah.
Okay, I practiced this one because during my practice playthrough, Honeycomb Herald gave me some trouble. So let's see how this goes. Depressed bees going off to work. I just find that kind of funny. Just look at them. Hello, map. I like that the queen bee has like actual magic abilities with like a scepter and everything. It's like classic like Disney cartoon kind of vibes to it for this one.
Yeah,
I always think Disney with this fight. I don't know if that was intentional or probably. But like, yeah, this one in particular, I'm like, totally a Disney villain, totally like Maleficent or something, you know?
I know it's meant to be a scepter, but that scepter always wields like a really big wooden spoon to me.
I can see it.
Oh man, I love that. Oh, I need to find the spell. Where's the spell? Where's the spell? Ah, there we go. Page 15.
Ooh, swift dodge there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, first try! First try! My practice paid off! I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself. Okay. I really am proud. I didn't even get all the praise. I don't care. I don't care that it's a B+. First try, first try, first try.
I guess it was a bit thematically appropriate that you scored a B in that one. Thank you, thank you. I will be here for another few hours. You can enjoy this peak comedy until then. Do you want to try and clear up the Renegon levels sooner rather than later?
What's up?
I was just wondering if we want to try and get some of the try and get the Renegon levels first, just so you have the coins for the thing.
Oh, good point. All right, I'll do them after this. Sure.
Okay, sweet.
Good idea. Yeah. You can see I'm quite the Cuphead master.
You don't even need the extra thing cards. You're already maxed out on the thing. Still pairing it.
I'm firing the laser.
I do like the fact that the boat has two mouths.
Me too.
It also looks like a normal.
First try.
Wait, is this boss meant to just be referencing like memes?
I don't think so.
Well, because it's a narwhal with a shoop-de-whoop laser.
I mean, that is very true, so maybe. But I know that the captain himself, I definitely know is a Steamboat Willie character. Or maybe not some character. Captain Briny Beard. Alright. You know what? Friday. You like to donate to a great cause.
I was about to say, get the coins.
Bow. Perilous Piers. This is probably my second favorite running gun level. Oops. Alright, restarting.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, it is a Popeyes reference, I think. Thanks for finding me, hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the... what's the name of the big lad in Popeye? The one, I think he's like Popeye's rival.
Yes.
Good call, hell yeah.
Thank you, Elliot. Also, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. Shall we remind the chat of our donation tactic?
Yeah.
Our little idea?
Right now, if you want to donate as little as $1, you can select what loadout IKG is going to be using. The top donor for the current stream segment is the one who picks, so if someone decides to donate a certain amount, you'll need to top that in order to make a new selection, but currently we haven't had a donator during the segment, so yeah. The donations will go to Direct Relief, the charity. 100% of donations go towards them, so if you're interested in putting forward some money towards them, that would be a way you can do it. I do like this segment with the, what do you call it, squid?
Oh yeah, me too. Oh. No. So close.
I feel like I'm getting spoilers on the stream because I have your Discord order coming through faster than the stream video is. That was a tense moment. It's like, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? And then he'd say no, and I go, oh, dang. I do like the fact that crabs have to congratulate their crab mates when they go up against each other. You know, oh, high five, man! You did such a good job walking back and forth. Yeah, man, you too.
Yeah.
It's just
That
kind
was
of
a close
funny.
one.
I'm just saying not all the animals are meant to look like dock workers, but it definitely does have the kind of feeling like they're all, you know, heave-hoeing away to their own little song with the way they kind of bobbing back and forth and kind of tune with each other.
Right. I love how weirdly desolate the city looks in the background in a very, like, backwards looking kind of way. It's interesting.
It is interesting.
And I just wonder, like, what is all of this?
Yeah. Oh.
It's not over yet, Snake. Oh, it's over.
I feel as if the charge shot's probably not the best for that segment. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, I think neither the pea shooter or the charger are actually good for that segment, to be honest.
yeah.
Actually, I could say that about this level in general. I don't think either are very useful for this. But you could help me by donating. Minimum of $1. Oy vey. I really want to try that new one I bought, but I don't know what it does.
I won't say anything.
Okay.
You'll have to feel and see.
Your eyes only.
I will say they gave a whole new meaning to flying fish.
Ow.
Oh, I understand that the crabs are meant to be knocking against each other, so it makes sense that they're, closing their eyes. But I don't know. It does feel like it's a a sheer inability to contain their excitement. They're just like, oh yeah. Oh. Also, I bet it was intentional, but the fact that that little ring in the middle of the buoy, or whatever you want to call it, kind of looks like a mouth because of the color.
Yeah.
I find it really, I don't know if derpy is the right word, but that's what I think I'd say, Very silly, very goofy little face. Yeah, it's definitely not ideal, but with the fact that the pea shooter just needs, I think, 2 shots to wipe out one of those little tentacle things, if you just kind of have a stray one hit it at the beginning and then
Yeah.
one hitting it at the end there. Mind you, I guess the charge shot kind of has its advantage in the way that if you need to carve a hole right there and then, you can kind of pick and choose your moment, but it's definitely, as you said, not the ideal.
No. I would never normally take these weapons into this level for any reason.
What kind of setup we usually use? Something like the spreader and then maybe the chaser?
Both would work. For this level, I would definitely do, I would do the combination of Lobber and, Chaser.
Yeah.
But Spreader would work. Spreader would not be bad at all. No.
I was just thinking that because, especially with the segments where you're kind of jumping and you might want to hit stuff, having that little kind of short range thing is really the range that you're trying to just make sure you clear out a path in, right? So I could see the utility it would have. I gotta say, that heart is actually coming in clutch on this level.
Yeah. It is. It'd be so much more tenuous without it.
Oh man, it hurts to see how the shots almost hit stuff. Like it seems like the hitboxes like collide, but it's just like a few pixels off. What time does this segment officially end?
I'll look at the schedule in a bit.
I think it's like 7 or 7:30. I will say the fact that the crab's eyebrow thing goes down into their mouth is definitely an interesting visual choice. I don't know how I feel about it. Firstly, giving crabs eyebrows, I understand that you're doing it to give them expressiveness, but it's still a little quirky, shall we say.
It's really hard to do this game without any donation.
I was about to say, do you think you need a lifeline here, or are we going to be stuck for a while?
I never thought I'd see the day where I'm stuck on perilous piers, but if I can't change my loadout, I kind of am stuck. I think we're gonna need a lifeline here.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh,
let's give it one more shot.
Okay, one more shot. Starting now, not what you saw on stream.
Yeah.
This is like Zone 4 of Tropical Coast all over again. I'll take an extremely measured approach. Never mind. I stubbed my toe. I stubbed it again.
I kid you throwing.
I'm not throwing. Really not. I'm just tired. I haven't had coffee. And I don't want to have it because I had it the last couple days and I'm not addicted to it yet, so I don't want to start getting addicted to it. Alright, I'm done.
You did throw for content. You...
If we get a donation, that'd be great. For direct relief,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Let me just take a break. Let's take a very short break, 2 minutes. I'll try again in 2 minutes.
Yep.
Oh.
There we go.
We got a donation Friday for the health of the stream and time slot $5.
Okay.
You know what?
I'm gonna give it a dealer's choice.
You're awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I needed that.
I know you did. And anyway, it's for charity. There's worse things I could be spending my money on.
Well, I have to try the new one, Converge.
Indeed you do.
And I will give myself the Chaser.
Cool.
Thank you.
Now go.
Whoa!
Just remember that
What
you're
is
sticking with us
this?
for the indefinite future.
Look at that.
Yeah. I think it spreads out the more you fire, doesn't it? It looked like it got narrower.
Wait,
in
it's
some
getting
situations.
narrower. Oh, if you hold down RB and aim it, it gets narrower? Or, I don't actually understand.
Yeah, no, it looks like when you're in aim mode it narrows down, but when you're not in aim mode it opens up a little bit.
Yeah, that's
really
exactly
cool.
what happens. That is so cool.
So you can try and cover a little bit of wider area.
That's a
or
new
use it for
mechanic,
more
basically.
missions and things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very great. I like the sound it makes too.
I should actually check the stream audio for that.
Sure. It applies also if you hold RB and shoot straight in front of you still. Like it's still...
Yeah, that's actually really neat.
So it's like good for standing still, basically, you could say. So it's like the spreader, less specific, but also has a property if you stand still. That's
Well, yeah, I was
actually
about
really
to say, it
creative.
looks like it's, they tried to kind of take the idea of the spreader into more of a long-range situation, but they tried to keep that trade-off there. So
Huh.
instead of having range, you sacrifice mobility.
Wow, that is interesting.
And as you probably recognize from playing this level, mobility is important.
Yeah, this is actually pretty cool. Huh.
Indeed it is.
See, I focused it and that actually killed him because I got more power out of it.
Ain't that
Yes.
fascinating?
This gave me energy back. What is it special? Oh, it's a straight laser. That's cool. I could use learning new things on Dawn of a New Day.
It's called new for a reason.
Oh, it's annihilating everything in my path. Look at this.
What is this? Easy mode?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna beat this now.
And that's what we call pay to win, in the sense that this is a DLC thing, and I had to pay for it.
Not only did IKG buy the DLC, but Friday donated to charity.
Like I said, Cuphead's really, really learning how to squeeze those dimes out of you. Really following in the arcade tradition.
That was great. That made me so happy. Thank you, Friday, for your donation. not only because you helped direct relief, but we're moving along.
Indeed we are.
Wow. I smell a
Actually,
mausoleum.
I am just quickly going to check the stream schedule.
Sure, yeah. You can check the spreadsheet.
Oh, I was just gonna check the Twitter account because it's the pinned tweet.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, so no, it's time crisis at 8 a.m. Yeah, 9. No, it's 9:15. Yeah.
It should be on the AM. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 7:30. Okay, is when Shadow starts. So that is in an hour and a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, hour and 20.
I think we'll be okay. I do have to keep a pretty good pace because we've got a couple bottlenecks, but there's a good shot we can finish, for sure. I'll do my best.
Hour and 20? And you just got, what, this island left and then the devil? I guess King Dice too.
Yeah. Credits and all that. I think we can do it. I think.
Yep.
Alright, that's the third mausoleum.
Indeed it is. Good stuff.
They added achievements. More achievements. Cool.
Oh, that's nice.
I was gonna say, I've done the third mausoleum many times, but I guess there was never an achievement for it. There you go. Alright. We're gonna do the other running gun level.
Huh, interesting.
I have a question for the chat, for anybody who's currently listening. What is your favorite genre of music? Curious.
I don't quite know if I'd call this a genre of music, but I've very recently been actually not very recently. I think let's tell a little story. So
Okay.
back in my day, which is basically today, because I'm still a youngin', but pop music was like the kind of, I guess, early 2010 stuff mostly. So, you know, you got your Katy Perrys, you got your Taylor Swifts, etc., etc. And a lot of that music, obviously, was kind of marketed towards a younger and especially female demographic. And so, especially when you kind of got into like later elementary school, early high school, there was kind of like the, oh, it's girly stuff, ick, idea of it. But I think it was about a year or two ago, there was a story on CBC Radio that was talking about how I don't know if you remember, but Taylor Swift recently started re-releasing her albums underneath like the Taylor's version thing.
Yes, I do
because
know
of some
about that.
copyright stuff that was going on.
Right.
And apparently, one of the people involved in that weird copyright shenanigan was actually running for a gubernatorial race in somewhere in America.
Are you serious? Why did I know
And so,
this?
and so their competitor or their rival actually like tried to leverage Taylor Swift fans against that person by doing like a social media thing.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Might as well.
I don't know how effective it was, but because of that, they
That's funny.
played Blank Space from, I think, 1989 was the album.
Ouch.
And I was like, you know what? I think I want to listen to some Taylor Swift music after that, because my sister used to be a really big fan, and so I have a lot of nostalgic memories for, you know, driving around in the car when my sister and I
Oh
were
yeah,
younger,
I'm seeing.
listening to Taylor Swift music. And honestly, it bangs so hard. I absolutely adore it.
You know what? I think Taylor Swift is really good, actually. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like 1989.
I do
but
not
feel
listen
it
to her music often, but
will always have a special place in my heart because of when I was listening to it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
It's as far as pop music goes in the 2010s, I think she's up there for me, I think.
Yeah,
would
I
say.
definitely think that I think if you look through her catalog, obviously not all of the stuff that she's worked on was solely a solo thing, right? There's a lot of collaborative work that goes on in music, especially in pop music. But I definitely think that it's pretty clear that she has a lot of talent.
Oh yeah.
Both in terms of performance and also in terms of creation. And yeah, I definitely enjoy a lot of her stuff.
Fun fact, my neighbor, um, who went to, the same school district and everything with me from elementary school all the way through high school, he actually met Taylor Swift before she became famous, like no joke. Because Taylor Swift was still doing country stuff before she got discovered for pop. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
she went to his, so he went to our elementary school starting in my 4th grade. But the elementary school he was at before, his family moved. This is a very silly image. Just gonna chase this thing. Wait.
It's ironic that you're spending so much time trying to chase that with this weapon when you have another weapon, literally.
I have a chaser, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, and she came to the school and played them, just singing on guitar. Yeah, no joke. This is like a year before she heard her on the radio.
That's really cool.
I'll never forget that. It wasn't me, but it was him.
Yeah.
He showed me pictures and everything. He couldn't have lied.
Yeah,
So,
that's neat.
Neat. I was like, oh. I was always surprised my sister never really liked Taylor Swift. I'm like, why not? I like Taylor.
Yeah. I was actually exposed to a lot of media through my sister that I'm quite glad I have like the frame of reference for. One thing that she used to watch religiously was Gilmore Girls. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show.
Only vaguely, actually.
But
yeah, of course
yeah,
I've heard of it, but
I have a comprehensive education in Gilmore Girls thanks to my sister and mother.
I see. I'm loving this weapon.
Yeah?
Yeah. Actually complements the running gun playstyle pretty well.
Which is ironic for a weapon that makes you stand still.
Yeah, the standstill and gun, but I mean it helps. You take things a little slower sometimes. I'm gonna go chaser for this part though.
I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's probably about it in terms of stuff that I was exposed to mostly through my sister.
Interesting.
That was obviously like a few other things, but yeah, I think that's probably the big two.
Very crunchy chords in this piece. I like it.
Yeah.
And good night. Alright.
Otherwise, my most listened genre would probably be like alternative / indie rock. Which is an extremely broad genre, but like, it's got a vibe. How about you, IKG?
I don't know if I can pick a favorite at this point.
What do you think the genre that you could class most of the music you've been listening to casually recently under?
Recently? I've been listening to a lot of 60s pop recently, actually.
60s pop? Nice, nice.
Mostly American. Crack
What
Shot.
kind of songs is that? Okay.
That's new.
I've heard the Crack Shot is really fun.
That's brand new. Straight shot with good damage breaks into weaker aimed projectiles. Interesting. Let's get the spread.
Okay, I actually want to see you use the Crack Shot, so I might actually just have to.
Alright, then I'll buy it.
Yeah,
Sure.
buy it.
And then
Oh, curse me for donating $5.
Twist Up. This is new as well. Rapid fire shot with arced pathway and average damage.
Twist Up is kind of niche. It works like the tornado projectile from certain other games, if you can think of that.
Okay. I'll buy the coffee autofill meter. Alright. Goodbye.
Oh, I accidentally closed the Twitch window.
Okay.
And I'm back.
Bow. Alright, we're gonna do Marine Corps.
Is the pea shooter just spelled pea shooter, like the letter?
PEA, like the vegetable.
Got it.
Hey! Can't. Hang on, I'll read this just 1 sec. There we go. We got a donation from Friday.
I want to see you use
For
the crack shot, dude.
$6.
I want to see you use it right now.
Crack shot, lobber, smoke grenade, and special one. Oh, he gave me
That's a full loadout, right?
That is a full loadout.
Okay, switch out to the map right now. I want to see you use that damn crack shot.
Okay, we're going back to the map. This is exciting for me too. I get a little taste of the DLC throughout this playthrough. So, crack shot, then lobber, you said?
Yeah.
Lobber, good choice for this boss especially. What super do you want me to use, actually?
That's what I meant by special one.
Okay, and then charm. Do you have a request of the 3 that I have? Smoke bomb, heart, or coffee?
I said smoke.
Oh, you said smoke bomb. Okay. Alright, here we go. Oh, this is exciting. Get a little DLC taste.
Oh.
Whoa! What is... What the... What the heck? Whoa! Whoa!
So if you hit with the initial projectile, it does more damage, but there's that secondary projectile that shoots out of it if you don't manage to hit it with the close range one. That seems like it homes in a little.
And it homes in. It's okay, I'm just trying to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
Wow. So does the second shot do more damage, or not necessarily? It just does damage.
I think the second shot does less damage.
Oh, that actually makes more sense.
Description.
That makes sense. Okay. Let me check the description real quick. Wow. Okay, so straight shot with good damage breaks into weaker aim projectiles. Okay. Oh. Interesting. And it's not very... doesn't have a huge range. Interesting. I love the sound it makes. Again, I don't know who does the sound design, but it's... Whoa! Look at this super. That's so cool. I wish you could see the smile on my face right now.
I can imagine it.
Alright. This is great. I like how the card fills up with it too. It's very like sequential.
Have you ever seen the way that the special works if it doesn't just hit an enemy? Because it said it was like a turret or something.
No.
Yeah, so it fires off projectiles constantly if you leave it to go out instead of just hitting the enemy.
So
I think you're supposed to fire it away from the boss,
So
to
what-
like a safe spot.
interesting. So what they've actually introduced, I was gonna say, is you actually don't. You want to aim the special weapon at different. I don't think any other weapons work like that before. That's really cool. Okay, I'll try that. We're gonna have
I
another
just remember
shot.
seeing in the card it said something like something turret, which made me think, hang on a minute, we probably want to let it stay active rather than just make it go away instantly.
Yeah.
Here's a real high-class bout. It's on.
I'm gonna use the lava for the first phase. Bounce is really useful for this, I think. Yeah, I'll bust it out a little bit. Ah. So I'm gonna fire it away. Oh my god, it is a turret! And it... Wow, it probably does less damage, right, than just shooting it straight at it. Right.
I would assume it does more damage because it fires multiple times, but I would have to test that out using.
Oh, maybe over time it does. Right.
Yeah, because it shoots at like 5 or 6 shots instead of just having it being one big one, right?
This is amazing. I am blown away by these developers once again. Look at all that damage. Did it! Thanks, Friday. And thank you for donating to Direct Relief. How far away from our next goal?
We're pretty close, actually. We are currently at $781, and we're trying to get to 800, so that's $19, I think.
Okay. Junkyard Jive.
A great slam and then some. Here goes. A great slam and then some.
Oh.
And begin.
I like the new voice clips on the robot. Very nice. It could be the doctor coming from inside. Maybe that's why it sounds so metallic, maybe?
Maybe.
That could be it.
It's not because of the direct reflash stuff. It's because of paying for the piping thing fees and then buying a few Nintendo games for the Switch, which are ridiculous. But my bank statement this month is let's just say that I'm spending money, which I don't necessarily have a problem with because it's currently just sitting in a savings account, so it's not like I'm getting anything out of it. It's probably better to spend it than just let it sit there. But
Well, with interest and yeah.
I was about to say, with the level of interest I'm getting at the current rate of inflation, it's probably good that I'm spending that money.
Actually, probably, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually giving it to Direct Relief, they know better to do with it than I do, so...
There you go. I'm glad it's worth it on multiple levels.
Exactly. Maybe that's what we should do. We should start positioning this as a, you have no idea how to spend your money well, and so what we can do is we can offer you a place that you can spend it.
I feel good about spending it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't a sinkhole of money. It's the work of God.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
I will say though, despite the fact that obviously spending money can make you wince a little bit, I think I'm glad on the things that I've been spending it on.
Good.
Got Smash, which that's always a fun game to play with mates and pals and buds. Got Mario Kart, which is another one to do it fun. Especially on the Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And conveniently, because I bought a Pro Controller, I can even actually have people play with nicer controllers than just Joy-Cons.
Oh, cool.
Alright, can we just take a moment to mention how absolutely ridiculous the Pro Controller is in terms of price?
Yeah. It is expensive.
It is stupid expensive.
You can also use it on PC now that you have one.
Actually, good point. I still prefer my DualShock 4 though.
That's fine.
Yeah. I don't know why. It seems like our group of mates generally is a bunch of DualShock haters. I don't know why.
I'm not a DualShock hater, but I'm not exactly a DualShock lover.
That means you're a hater.
Oh, come on. Give me a break. I have a PS3. I love it.
Yeah, but you'll have the PS3, not the DualShock 3.
I've held a DualShock 4 before, and a DualShock 5. Or DualSense, I should say.
Yeah, DualSense. Actually, that reminds me, God of War 2018, the sequel, is coming out real soon. I think November is the announced release date for Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. Also looking forward to Xenoblade 3 coming out on July 29th. It's less than 2 weeks away.
Wow. Hard to believe it's coming so soon.
I know. Actually, no, sorry. It's not less than 2 weeks away. It is just 2 weeks away. Because 29th is 2 weeks and 1 day. Sorry. I had a misspeak. I was about to say, what is the thing that says thank you? And I think it's when you revive someone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
me too.
Do you know who did the voice for Cuphead?
I don't actually know.
Because that's just like the one person that seems to be voicing all the like announcer kind of things.
I'm sure we can
I
look
guess
it
it
up.
would be one person, but what's the fun in that? Now the question is, will they have as cool a name as Xander Mobiles?
Wow, that's a high bar.
It is a high bar.
Ah, 7:30 is when the session ends?
7:30 is when the session ends. You got an hour.
Okay. Still possible. It's gonna be pretty tight.
I believe in you, IKG. You can do this.
Okay. Well, sounds like Wario
you
now.
almost made it out with getting hit there. That was so impressive.
Yeah. Ah! Out of my face. How'd I do?
Actually, I will say, this boss fight does really have a face theme going on with it, doesn't it? You got the bombs with the face on them, like the robot with the big head. They explode into faces.
Oh, yeah.
This scientist really does like getting his face out there.
Like Dr. Eggman.
True. There is a moth that has been harassing me for the last few hours, and it is
In your house?
becoming annoying once again. Well, yeah, I have a window open because it's summertime and warm.
What time is it over there?
3:33 a.m.
Fair enough.
Sun should be coming out soonish.
So it'd still be warm? Ow.
Yeah, it's not like hot. I had the fan on earlier. I had to turn that off a little while ago.
Oh, the sun is coming up where I live now.
Oh yeah? Usually starts coming up at about 4 or 5 a.m., so it's still pretty dark out, but in due time.
Wow, I got really lucky there with the timing on that. My goal is to get through the first phase unscathed. With at least 2 hit points.
I will say, I'm surprised that you have prioritized the things in the way you have.
How so? Just curious.
Well, just to me, I think the middle one, leaving that one to last, even though it's probably the easiest to hit, would be the nicest, because it's the obstacle that's the easiest to deal with. You just need to parry the big thing. The laser beam is fairly manageable because it's got a long telegraph, but those little guys that fly in and out constantly, that come out of the bottom hatch, generally layer onto those other two in really awkward ways.
You know what, that is a good point. Maybe I should have thought more about that.
Obviously, play the way you want. I'm not the one going here, but that's just kind of how my brain was rolling. Maybe in practice it feels quite different, but that generally seemed to kind of be the order you're struggling with them too.
Yeah, maybe that would have helped. I might win, though, if I hold on.
Yeah. You've got a pretty good grasp of the pattern here, so...
Damn it! Okay, let's take your middle, maybe
you
bottom.
Just clicked the other wall.
The problem is when you destroy the bottom one, then those really devastating bombs come out. That's the trade-off.
Oh.
So that's why I was apprehensive. But
I would definitely leave the middle one at least, though. Maybe focus on the couple of bottom ones first. Especially
that's
since
good.
it feeds you special charge, right? Oh yeah, those bombs. I don't know. The bombs
Skull
are
bombs
slower
are
than
very
the,
scary.
What's it called?
Wow, that was close. Wow, that was close. It's like 3 pixels off. Okay, okay. Okay.
Seems like you're doing a real good job on this one.
Hello, Mad Doctor. I see you like your
I do like
Chaos
how
Emerald.
his eyes and the robot's eyes both roll in and out at the same time.
That's a big Chaos Emerald.
It's so weird to me they still call them Chaos Emeralds, even though like there's actual names for things that are the same as emeralds but different colors.
Yeah, that is a bit weird. It's one of those
This
things where I
isn't-
feel like if they were to do the series again, they would have just not done that, but I guess you never know.
Yeah, because isn't emerald just like a particular thing that's green colors, and that's what defines it as emerald? Is the color?
Correct. The
I can't remember what
specific
the
gem.
actual mineral is, but
I can't remember the mineral either, but
yeah, because that's what emeralds, rubies, and sapphires are from. Which, haha, Pokemon.
damn it! Oh my god, you won't believe how close I was. Look at it.
Good day for a
Oh, that hurts. That really stings. Oh, yeah, let's look this up. Emeralds. Beryl is the name of the mineral. Yeah, so aquamarine, aquamarine is a blue or cyan variety of beryl. Emerald is a green colored beryl. Golden beryl is something else. Maybe not. Red beryl. Red emerald or scarlet emerald? Oh. Actually, I think they are different from ruby, sapphires, and emeralds. But it is beryl. It's green beryl is what an emerald is.
Okay.
Oh, and then there's the corundum, which is another family of gems, which is what rubies and sapphires are from. Yeah, so rubies and sapphires are delineated by the presence of chromium or other metals. So that's what we were thinking of. Whereas emeralds are also in another family of things that are defined by their color, but they aren't the same family. So the more you know. Who
Are you
said video games
serious?
didn't teach you anything?
Here's a real high-class bout. Now go.
So beryl and corundum.
Wow, actually, using the bombs actually
Oh, you
destroyed
can hit
2
both of
parts
those
at
at the same
once.
time.
Yeah, like the same thing. That's actually great to know.
Oh wow, you really blasted through that first phase there. Jeez.
Took a careless hit though, but yeah. Okay.
Careless Hit is my favorite. What was it, George Michael?
George Michael, yeah. Careless, careless hit. It's a sequel to Careless Whisper.
Prequel, actually.
Oh. 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 That's implications. Ah. I didn't say that.
I do think it's kind of funny. I don't know how familiar you are with Neil Cicierega, but he has a trilogy, I guess quadrilogy now, of mashup albums called the Mouth albums. That started out as kind of a joke where he made a bunch of mashups using All Star by Smash Mouth. But it's kind of funny because he says that Mouth Silence is a prequel, which is weird for an album, but I'll take it.
Alright.
They don't have any like narrative or anything. It's just he decided to call it a prequel as a joke, and it's a funny joke.
Anybody in the chat? Or is it just completely dead?
The last message was at 2:55, with Helia specifying that the captain was a Popeye reference.
Ah, yes. How many viewers do we have right now?
We're currently sitting at 4. We fluctuated roughly between like kind of 4 and 7 over the last little while, so people have been ducking around, which is, you know, nice.
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, 5. Someone else has joined in. Hello and welcome.
Whoa.
IKG is currently struggling to beat this flying boss. Generally, the on-foot bosses haven't given him a ton of grief yet, but the flight ones are a little bit more difficult. I think they definitely, as you were saying, kind of harp on that bullet hell thread a little bit more than the other kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't necessarily bad, but can get a bit
hard.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
You gotta have your eyes in a lot of different places, because you gotta know where you're aiming, you gotta know where you're shooting, you gotta know where you're flying.
Yep.
And, you know, there's other things where it's like, oh yeah, I'm totally aiming in the right spot, but then you're in small mode and you don't
How
remember
did I
exactly
evade
what range you have.
I'm gonna be a god after all.
Oh my goodness, that was actually so tight.
Did you see how tight that was?
I did, that was insane. The plays, the jukes, the moves.
IKG's comeback victory run.
No, don't speak too soon.
Well, not yet. Haven't got hit yet. On phase 2.
Oh, exciting, exciting.
Don't want to jinx it, but...
I don't want to jinx it, but I will jinx it. Do you reckon the magnets would be good in this phase?
No, actually. They're surprisingly not very useful. You'd think they would be. Not in this phase.
Oh wow, no, homing is way too slow. You're right.
Yeah, the robot head's just too fast. These things should explode. Okay, good.
I do think it's funny that my reaction was thinking that the magnets are too slow, and your reaction was thinking the robot was too fast.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
The ones which the robot is too fast for, and the ones in which the magnets are too slow for.
There you have it. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. I just gotta.
These kinds of
no, I gotta
people
focus. I gotta
cannot
focus.
peacefully
I gotta
coexist.
focus. Okay. Never mind.
Hello. Oh man, that username tripped me up. I was gonna say Goofy Dog, but I realized it's actually 10 and 2S. Would that be Golfy Dog? 21? Hello.
No!
Welcome.
Damn it!
Oh, you were so close.
Hello.
IKG is currently barely scraping by here. Yeah, sure. Ask away.
A brawl is surely brewing. Now go.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that was a question. Can you swear? Generally, chat, no, we're trying to keep it, a little bit more, clean, just because of the, fact we're doing a charity stream right now, which it's, you know, generally to keep a little bit of decorum, so. We'd rather you not. Yeah. And unfortunately, we've already dropped our one F-bomb earlier in the stream, so. You know, let's slip out.
That's the one that we're afforded by PG-13.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been used.
Yeah. It's been used actually a few times.
If you want to look at it that way. Yeah, well. Alright.
I've been impressed with how clean we've managed to keep the language. Especially when people have found adequate alternatives that don't sound goofy.
True.
There are many ways to express anger and rage. Yeah, the robot does just kind of decide that, body ain't for me. Actually, I just realized this is the second boss that's in a clown car. Like a Bowser Jr. type clown car, I think that is.
I'm really losing my confidence.
That's alright. Do you want to just take a moment? Take a deep breath? You can do this, IKG. I know you got it. You figured out the magnets, you figured all that. You just gotta get those damn Chaos Emeralds.
Got it. Oh yeah, that is the next event.
It is. Shadow the Hedgehog coming up real soon.
Indeed.
We got about, just under an hour. And then Harain should be logging on for that. Should be a good time. I would be saying a lot more, but I'm trying not to distract IKG too much because I also want to finish this. When we get to the end of this fight, we'll be a little bit more. We'll be a lot more chatting. But feel free to go ahead and chat amongst yourselves in the chat if you want to say something or ask any questions.
A brawl is surely brewing.
This is what my personal hell is, just playing this fight over and over again. Which is what I said on my first playthrough, and apparently it's coming back with a vengeance. Guess what?
Really? Is this one of the ones that gave you grief?
This is the one that gave me the most grief on my original playthrough. Even more than Dice and the Devil. Can I tell you something?
Yeah?
My practice run for this last week, I did this first try.
Oh yeah?
Do you know what happened when I practiced it again?
You took 20 million hours.
I did it first try again.
Oh.
You wanna know what's happening on the stream?
You getting psyched out?
Yeah, I am failing constantly. I don't know what's going on.
Actually, okay,
I was like, wow, I've never done the Mad Doctor this well, and then...
Take a minute. Gotham just asked, what would you feel if boss you fought up to this point? So out of the ones we fought so far.
I mean, I'm very happy that the Queen Bee went off without a hitch. That's great.
Yeah.
That was really good. Damn it. Restarting.
This match will get red hot. And begin.
I may not have fought it personally, but I definitely did enjoy the Genie boss. That's one of my favorites. And you actually went through it very cleanly as well. I think you did that. I think you got that one first try as well.
I did. Yeah, just one hit. Yeah. No deaths.
I also had an amusing time, as I said, asking the question of if the shit boss actually might just be a reference to memes, because not only does the ship kind of look like a narwhal when you transform it into the final phase, but it also has a shoot-to-whoop laser.
The shoot-to-whoop laser is hard to ignore.
It is. It does the whole face and everything.
We'll never really know the truth.
No, alas. Such is the grand mystery of Cuphead. Was it a meme or was it an artistic decision? Who will know?
I think my playthrough is a meme, for sure.
I'm just throwing for content. This isn't how I usually play.
Unintentional meme playthrough begins.
Indeed.
Ow!
Good day for
I'm gonna lose my... It's way too early for this.
IKG, you can do it. Believe in yourself.
There's nothing in my stomach. I'm so hungry, dude.
I am very hungry as well. Unfortunately, we can't get up and eat because Harain hasn't shown up.
Welcome to Dawn of a New Day, where we will do literally anything for charity at this point.
Well,
Almost.
we will do some things that we wouldn't normally do. And those things may or may not be detrimental to our health. We are unsure.
That's debatable. Okay, 2 hit points going into phase 2. I'll take it.
Yeah, we might take a quick food break depending on what's going on. But I feel as if you could probably power through the next however long to
I'm gonna push
finish
the
it out.
Cuphead before I eat.
Yeah, exactly. He can handle it. Don't worry.
Regardless of what my doctor says.
Here's the only dude, Dave. We might not be medical professionals, but we sure will act like we are.
Okay, shh. Concentration freeze. Thank the Lord of Cuphead and Mugman. And praise Elder
beautiful.
Kettle.
You'll love to see it.
I did it.
Oh my goodness, that was... Oh, my stomach might already be in knots because I haven't eaten for a while, but it was even more in knots because of that. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Anyways. Hi. I'm IKG Productions. And this is Nightline.
A great slam and then
Dun, dun. This is my favorite boss in the game.
Indeed it is.
Bum, 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 bum. One of my favorite pieces in the soundtrack, too.
Oh yeah?
Especially the tap dancing solo in the middle,
Ah,
which
nice.
we may or may not get to hear, because the piece is quite long.
Confident, I see.
Phase 1 done. Alright, let that turret go.
Asbestos on the thing?
I hope not. I guess it would be accurate to the time period. If so. Okay, get that turret going. Ah! It's alright, it's alright. Not bad for first run.
a great slam and then
Oh yeah, it does say asbestos.
Asbestos, yeah, there we go.
Ow.
I'm surprised I caught that.
How's the chat doing Friday?
Well, we have one active user, which is always nice, because we've
sweet.
been all dead for like
Thank you
the
for
last
joining.
hour or so.
Yeah, it's been a quiet morning. Understandably so, but glad you're here.
Definitely. Currently, IKG is playing Cuphead with the DLC, so he's trying out some of the new weapons.
For the first time. It's been really cool. Spicing things up.
Indeed you are.
Studio MDHR. Nice. That says safety curtain. That's cute. I mean, true. Okay, watch out, watch out, watch out. Let the turret do the work. Let the turret do the work. And the secondary shots as well.
Oh, the milk bottle dropped on me.
Yeah.
I gotta say, keeping track of the background must be real rough on this one.
It's hard. Alright, here's Kefka. The cool Final Fantasy reference.
Yeah. Is that meant to be Kefka? I just assumed it was just meant to be like a Viking thing. With like a...
Nope, it's Kefka.
What's the name of it? Like opera thing, you know, like the joke thing. You always see that.
Well, I want to
I'm
say
just
that's
saying
the
it's always
case,
what I
but
assumed it to be.
I wish that was the case, but it's I don't think it is actually. I don't know. Maybe it could. Maybe it's two both. I don't know.
Well, I think they're probably doing it Kefka via that, right?
Right.
Because they're trying to keep it in like keeping
Because
with
it's
the
still
daily
on
thing.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, that's that.
Oh, that's actually pretty quick.
I'm not actually that bad. All right. Yeah,
I said you just psyched yourself out.
Yeah.
So with the super meter thing, does that just mean you have to charge up 6 cards total during a fight?
5 is the max, and yes, you have to charge all 5. To use the
So
super.
why does it say out of 6 at the end then?
Oh, maybe you can get a 6th card. Maybe the DLC does that. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm just assuming, because in the scoring thing, it's always said out of 6 cards, right? So I guess you just need to charge up 6 cards worth rather than just having
Maybe
5 cards. Because I think I've actually completed things before by getting 5 card super and then just like not using it or whatever.
Okay.
I don't remember.
High
maybe
Seas
you have to
Hijinks.
use 6
Carla
cards?
Maria. This is my favorite play level in the game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this one. I really like this one.
She got the hip jiggle going.
She does.
Just a little bit of whoop 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 whoop.
I love the side characters in this one too. They're very cute.
Oh, yeah?
Another great
Come
piece.
at me, I got you. Hey, come here.
Think. Ah. I didn't handle that very well. It's okay though. Water's
Hey,
gonna push
Prosecutor
up.
Walton, welcome back. Good
Oh.
morning.
Hi, Prosecutor Walton. Ah!
What's one of the issues as both? I'm not quite sure exactly what you mean.
Welcome to Medusa.
I'm guessing like a time zone thing?
Walton lives in the UK, so
Ah, yeah, so it is a
that
time zone
helps.
thing.
Yeah. Will we be able to do this first try? No.
Can you already
Why
buy?
say that? It's okay. I'll get this one. This won't be too bad. There are opportunities to use the magnets and the bombs for this one if you're curious, Friday. The more you know.
Oh, I forgot there were multiple fish that she could pick up.
There you go. That's how you do that section perfectly. Yay.
Oh man, that was actually really impressive.
Thank you. We're already on the last phase.
That phase transition is interesting.
Pretty scary, honestly. A little bit of
it's
that classic
definitely
cartoon
unnerving.
horror, you know, so to speak.
Yeah, it's got that kind of weirdly dark thing, like with the
Yeah, this game's got that covered too. I like to think King Dice and the Devil cover some of that as well, in some ways. Especially the way they like lean into the camera and cutscenes and stuff. It's very weird.
Oh, sweet. Walton's apparently been lurking for the last few hours, just not been able to chat because they've been doing stuff with our lunch break so they can
Oh,
be
okay.
a bit more active. Thank you very much, Walton, for joining in.
Absolutely, thank you. We should mention that we have more viewers. Our donation goal, if you would, Friday.
Yeah, so right now, IKG's playing some Cuphead, and we have 2 donation goals going. So if you donate to be the highest donator for the segment, you can choose his weapon loadout. Currently, the highest donation is $6, so you'll need to donate more than $6. And if we get $19 more, IKG and I will attempt to sing the intro song to Cuphead together. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing any of those happen, you can donate, and all the donations are for the charity Direct Relief. So if you're interested in supporting Direct Relief, 100% of your donations will go towards them, and we just have some little fun things to go along with them to maybe incentivize people to donate. So, yeah.
Well said, Friday. Always well said.
Thank you very much. Actually, I just realized the turret for this level is absolute crap.
Not necessarily. It's actually pretty helpful. You just have to...
things out, right?
What's that?
Well, it helps clear out the eyes. It helps get rid of the pumpkins. And
Are you worried about the soap thing?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I only like to play Railroad Wrath, where I have full control of the card anyway, so I usually just get rid of that. So it actually is doing me a favor.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you look at it, I guess. I actually think it's advantageous to have the turret for this. Yeah.
As I said, it seems like it's well suited.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said it wasn't well suited.
No, I was saying it was. Like, it's actually...
Oh, okay. That's why I disagreed.
You disagreed because you agreed.
Yeah, this weapon is very interesting for this one. What's this one called again?
Crack shot.
Crack shot. Very interesting. I bet the electric one that we had earlier would also be pretty good for this level.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of time for you to sit there in the what's it called mode?
Holding RB and yeah,
aim mode.
Aim mode. That's right.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It's also nice, at least with crack shot, because you can kind of pick a direction that you can cover some angles with, and then if you don't get anything, then the crack shot can kind of correct to the little bit that you might be missing out.
This was all thanks. Yep, this was all thanks to Friday, who has currently the highest donation bid. Hey, Harain, good morning.
Good morning, Harain.
Alright, phase two. Phase two. Friday and I have been having a good time. Except for Dr. Cal.
That one took a while. But generally the night segment's been pretty
woke up and got a little piece of that.
That's okay, that was my lowest point. We've actually been having a really good time.
I made the irresponsible but totally worth it decision of staying up for the Hat in Time race.
Oh my goodness. The whole thing? That was a real fun one.
Oh, it was fun.
Wait, IKG. Try parrying your turret at some point.
Oh? Okay. Yeah, I'm trying some of the DLC weapons in the campaign thanks to Friday, Harain, so I get a little taste of something new.
It is pink.
Oh.
Well, I thought it saw him. I thought it did something when you hit it.
Did it kind of like push itself out of the way or something?
Yeah, no, it does the crack shot thing. It homes in.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
This weapon is so
I love these DLC weapons so much. I literally thought the weapons could get any better, and then they made them better.
How did you feel about the way that the Hat in Time race panned out, Harain?
It was very entertaining.
I'll have to catch up
It
on
all
that.
came down to a crash. It all came down to a crash.
Seeing Jill sit there and discover that she can pick up the paintings and do keep away with red.
Yeah.
That was funny. I think it was Jill.
I think it was Jill that figured that out, yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get through all of Clara. I think we got like halfway through the last level, and then we really need to start on Cuphead, but...
Okay. It's unfortunate, but... Sounds like you got really close to the end.
Yeah, as I said, last level. It's just, it would have been an extra like 20 minutes that we didn't really have.
Oh, Friday, tell Harain more about the Cuphead playthrough. Happened earlier.
I'm trying to remember what happened earlier. It's been a real wild ride.
It's been a bit. I don't know, just some of the things we've done.
Honey, a lot about bad guys.
Most bosses I've defeated on my first try.
Yeah, he's done very well. There's been a few choke points. There
have definitely been a few choke points to compensate.
It's just been playing levels, right, basically?
Yeah.
I don't think there's an on-foot level that's giving you grief so far.
Nope.
I think maybe the most amount of drag you've done from on foot was like either the clown or the dragon.
No, Clown was like 5 minutes. Dragon was maybe like 7.
Clown was short, but you had to take a few tries on it.
There
I
were a
think it
few
was like
tries,
3 or
though.
4.
Yeah, that's true.
Dragon, I think, might have been like 3 or something. I think he beat the entirety of Inkwell Isle 1 with 2 deaths, right?
Right. Also, I was really happy, Harain. You know how I practiced a lot for the Queen Bee because the practice run was not good? I did it on first try.
Yeah.
I'm so happy
And it
about
wasn't
that.
even like just a barely scraped by. It was a solid, like, win.
Yeah, kind of like this one. Alright. Getting the mojo back. I think there's definitely a good shot we can get this done by 7:30 if I keep up the momentum.
Wait, did Cuphead just teleport straight back onto the ground after you beat the boss with the ORS special?
Golly, a perfect score. Who knows?
Oh, and actually, we got a few donations during the Cloa run, which was nice.
I can see we're at 780.
Yeah.
And that's really awesome.
Friday graciously donated a couple times for the Cuphead run since it's been a little quiet.
I actually kind of wanted to see the new weapons myself, and
oh, it's made this playthrough even more interesting, so thank you. And more money for direct relief.
Exactly. I don't mind.
Okay, let's roll a 1.
I donated during a hat in time just to shake up the run.
Yeah, it actually was kind of funny because what it ended up doing was because of that, I actually think I had the opportunity to win because Red spent a little bit of time going into the subcon forest to try and find a time rift he didn't quite know the place for. Which I thought was kind of funny, because actually, if he didn't do that, he probably would have still been ahead of me if he just went straight for the Mafia Town one. Or at least, he would be very close. The Hat and Time Waste was already extremely close, and there were a few little decisions that, once again, kind of almost made it.
Yeah,
even
it was a neck and neck race that had a lot of integration and interaction, and the harassers were making it constantly interesting, and it was fun.
Dang, I wish I didn't have to miss it, but I'm definitely gonna catch the replay sometime on YouTube.
That was a cool race.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And it ended with a little dance party, which was nice.
How did Mario 64 go, right?
Very, very smoothly.
Really?
You could argue a little too smoothly, but that's
Huh.
okay.
Still a fun gimmick, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no. Zach made sure that we had to get at least a couple of extra stars, but not too. We ended up getting what, like 72 or 73?
Yeah, I think you got 72 or 73.
But we didn't end up having to do Rainbow Ride though. Didn't make that goal.
Okay.
But we did showcase a lot of fun and clean movement through a lot of the really good levels. It was probably the cleanest run we had.
Hey, that's
You did
good.
do Summer Rainbow Ride, though.
We did not do Rainbow Ride.
Not the whole thing, but you definitely did at least one phrase, didn't you? One
No,
last
we
one.
did the bonus stage that was across from it.
Oh, okay, that's
visually
what it
similar.
was. Yeah, that's what I was recognizing. Okay.
Yeah. Even outside of the fact that we didn't do Rainbow Ride, it was smoother than our practices, so Red and I went and reminded, no, we really are splitting this controller. This isn't
I
this
swear.
isn't like one
I
person
swear.
pretending to be two people.
You did so well, you made it look fake. That's kind of funny, though. Oh, the woman can break the turret. Interesting. I like the smoke bomb for this one a lot, as you can see Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's your dice. Got it. Okay, can we roll a 2 to fight Mr. Dice? Alright, here we go.
A great
If you overroll, do you have to restart as well?
You do.
Ooh. Hey.
Ooh, we can't destroy the turret. That is good to know.
Oh, that is actually good intel.
I know this is a very original and daring take, but I love the animation of Cuphead.
Oh my god! That's the first time I've ever done King Dice in one go.
Oh,
That
really?
was very clean.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
I don't think you even got hit.
No, he did. Oh, no, he did. He did.
Okay.
It's just he recovered the HP. He didn't get hit in the last phase, I don't think.
Sorry.
It's just because, right, on the King Dice board, right, you can
Just-
hit the HP slots.
My god.
Take your time, take your time.
For context, chat, he was very, very stressed about making it sure he could do King Dice on stream.
He's crying. Alright, let's have one hell of a time. This has been a very cool run.
Yeah.
This has been a very interesting run of Cuphead. People are
Yeah,
gonna have to watch the
definitely.
VOD of this one. Alright, Friday, should I give him the contracts or not? It doesn't really matter, it's just an ending difference.
Well, don't you have to keep them to fight him, or?
Actually, you do. Sure. Otherwise, get the lonely walk of shame. No, I'm not handing them over. Screw you.
Man, that transition was smooth.
Yeah, it's they nailed the like early era rubber hose animation. Everything was really, really smooth to the point where sometimes they didn't really. Sometimes old animation gets to the point where they actually start to lack anticipation and emphasis because they're just so smooth, you know? Cuphead doesn't go buck wild with it. It absolutely still understands how to use the principles of animation well, but it still gets that smoothness across a lot.
I think it helps that the game runs at 60 FPS, even though the animation is in classic 24. I think that's a really smart decision, you know? For both gameplay purposes and artistic purposes, right? I know that's not exactly what you're saying, but I just wanted to mention that.
It's worth noting, because with classic rubber hose animation, it was every frame was drawn by hand pretty much. Like, obviously references and tools exist, but, you know, they didn't exactly have as many options for just modifying an existing frame and reduplicating it. And also on top of that, the industry was so new that the standards for pay and work and how much should go into something were not very standardized. So you ended up having people spending a lot of time getting every frame drawn exactly how they wanted it to, but getting very short animations out of it.
Yeah. Helly just chimed in chat saying, if I remember correctly, the Devil and Saltbaker from the DLC are the only characters that break the 24 FPS rule.
Oh, interesting. Gotcha. Okay.
Which I'm not too sure if that is in cutscenes or in the fights, but it's in something.
Huh. Good to know. Thank you for that trivia. That's interesting.
Oh, it's in the fight.
just-
Okay, cool.
In the fight. Okay. Gotcha.
It's
Well, I
just
guess, yeah, something like the devil moving his hands in there is probably not done at 24, just
Ow!
because...
Skeleton. Let's change the lobber a little bit. I think the lobber might be nice.
The classic. Oh, okay. Apparently it's a lot more pronounced with Saltbaker in the DLC.
Interesting. I look forward to seeing that sometime. Pretty cool.
Saw a little bit of Salt Baker. That was actually really cool. Honestly, this game does such a good job of mimicking the style it's going for that the only reason it looks different from it, I can really tell,
Yeah.
besides being you know, HD and widescreen, is the fact that it's a video game. You know, obviously a video game's not going to have the dynamic camera perspective or moving or the way scenes are shot as a cartoon. But in terms of how it's animated and everything's presented, no. This is like pitch perfect.
Yeah.
Something we were talking about right at the beginning of our thing, of the run that Friday mentioned, that I kind of elaborate on, is that Cuphead is so overwhelmingly great in all categories of what makes a video game that it's easy to fixate on just one thing, but you forget that everything that Cuphead does is absolutely masterful. I was talking about gameplay. We were talking about gameplay balancing, for example, and how amazing the weapons and abilities are balanced, right?
Yeah, and the point I was mentioning is that despite the fact that, especially in the original release, there wasn't a ton of voice acting, the few little kind of accentuating lines with the thank you for the revive, the introduction, and knockout things for fights, it all very kind of captures that, I guess, kind of the particular performance voice that was kind of common and expected for the time.
Especially the thank you. I love that.
Yeah.
And the little,
and as I was saying, was kind of interesting. I think the only other game that I can think of that actually really even attempts that kind of, at least vocal performance, would be something like Bioshock Infinite, which is very, very different. And as like you said, not entirely trying to replicate this aesthetic, and also not entirely successful in replicating the aesthetic it's going for.
yeah. But it's interesting because like the additional voice clips they added through the free update when they released the DLC, not even like having to pay for it, just like in the free update. Again, they add a little more but they still don't overwhelm the overall focus on music and sound effects.
I will say one thing that I've noticed by not playing the game is that there are a lot of little animations that are unique to certain fights or moments that are scripted, like with Cuphead falling down the hole here and having his eyes bulge out and other stuff like that. That's just trying to kind of like punctuate the, I guess, kind of more cinematic or dramatic moments of these big fights.
Yeah. Look at how striking the Devil's final phases look. I mean, come on.
I will say, I do have a weird thing with Cuphead where sometimes when I'm watching the game, I start noticing how there's like, you know, a lot of the time they reuse similar or the same animations a lot for different attacks or whatever, or maybe their boss only has maybe 3 or 4 patterns per phase. But it's kind of weird because when you're engaging with it in this kind of live context, you don't have that time to just kind of sit back and critically look at everything. You kind of get a little bit swept up in the action, and because of that, the fact that it's not, you know, the absolute most crazy thing doesn't really matter that much. It's still absolutely insane for what it does, and just because it doesn't necessarily go to an unreasonable extreme because of the amount of work that
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Cuphead.
There we go.
Nice.
Done on time.
I was about to say, just because everything isn't, like, as I said, the best in genre doesn't necessarily mean that it's not absolutely fantastic and worthy of every single bit of praise and even more.
Right. I'd love to read this out loud if I could.
Please do.
The brothers had triumphed over the demon, forcing him to finally give up. We shall accept your surrender, devil, Cuphead laughed. We're not done just yet. And with that, Cuphead and Mugman destroyed all of the soul contracts, releasing Inkwell Isle's residents from eternal servitude to the devil. Gosh, I can't wait to tell everybody, Cuphead said. The boys set off for home, and at top speed. Come on! Last one there is a leaky cup, Mugman teased as they ran. Once home, the brothers gathered everyone together. You're all free from the devil's debt, Cuphead announced. And that fiend won't bother us again, Mugman added. The Elder Kettle was literally brimming with pride as everyone began to cheer. Let's hear it for Cuphead and Mugman. Hip hip hurrah! Hip hip hurrah! And as an all-day celebration began, the brothers promised to never wander into trouble again. And they didn't. Until the next time, of course. But that is another story, if you have DLC. And that is it for Cuphead. The end. Until we get to the delicious last course some other day.
Oh yeah, you did actually straight up murder the goo boy, because you even turned it into a grave and then you murdered his grave.
Yeah, you actually, yeah, it's one of the most, it's funny, one of the most morbid bosses is technically early on.
Sorry if you guys could hear that.
No worries.
I'm opening
So.
a bag. It's like a chip bag that's made of paper, so it's exceedingly loud.
I've pretty much summarized my whole thoughts on the game already, so I don't really have much more to add. I'll just let the credits play out since we've got about 10 minutes left. Yeah, I'm so glad how this playthrough went, even though there were a couple bottlenecks. I thought this was really, really fun, especially for early morning. So, yeah, I'm really happy. I really am. Harain, would you like to remind the chat of what we're doing here? And then Friday wants to chime in on something?
Actually, I just want to mention this quickly. It is kind of funny that we played Cuphead, which is a 2D shooter, and then we're going to Shadow the Hedgehog, which is a 3D shooter.
So we are Dawn of a New Day, a charity live stream dedicated to raising money for Direct Relief. Direct Relief is an organization that is dedicated to supporting people in times of crisis across the globe. They are most involved right now in the Ukrainian crisis, but they can be found helping people in a wide variety of situations. And if this sounds like an organization that you think you want to support and perhaps are able to, then check the links in the comments or in the description and maybe send them a donation. And if you could, thanks for watching, and perhaps consider sharing the stream around. Every little bit, and even just watching the stream helps. So, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. I'd like to also give credit to the Cuphead developers for crediting each musician by name. Not a lot of games do that, because, and understandably so, because the teams are so big in a lot of AAA releases, and even some smaller projects that usually go by groups of musicians, you know. They went out of their way to highlight every single group, and from not only the orchestra, but the big band to the ragtime group, every single musician is listed. And as a musician, that means a lot to me. So, thank you.
It also means that there are even more names for you not to pay attention to in the credits, which is just great.
I suppose. There you go.
I'm kidding.
I know.
But also, it is very hard to take in all the names.
Yeah, no, the credits don't exist for people to read all the names.
It does. It mostly exists so you actually have an actual credit to your name.
It's also a nice resource if you're ever watching it and you want to place and see a name show up, or if you're trying to figure out, hey, who did this specific thing, you know?
Right.
I don't think anybody reasonably expects you to read the whole credits, and I internalize that information.
I think Half-Life did a very good job with that, by putting the scientist's name on the lockers and having them be names of Valve employees. But
that was funny. I like that,
especially with Dr. Kuma. His name's Greg, right?
I think, yeah.
Alrighty, well, that is Cuphead.
We're going to be getting ready for Shadow the Hedgehog, where you guys, through donations, are going to be able to choose what route we go through. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned shortly. We'll be right back with Shadow the Hedgehog. Thank you for joining me on Cuphead. See you soon.